everybody, and welcome to day 2 of Video Game Choo-Choo's Game of the Year podcast series. I'm your host, John. With me today, Michael returns.
Hi, it's like Batman Returns, but with more nipples.
Oh boy. Rose is here.
I don't have more nipples. I guess Michael took them all so that he could look cool.
I have all the nipples.
All right, yeah. Michael looks like a dog right now, like nipples up and down. It's disgusting. All right, and we have Niall grossing him out.
Yeah, great. Thanks, John. It's really weird not having nipples anymore, but you know,
it's all good. It's all good. Don't worry. Join the club.
I'm the nipple king. King nipple.
All right. Let's stop driving our listeners away and start talking about Game of the Year, shall we?
no,
Best
Okay, fair
nipples
enough.
go to...
Michael.
Yeah!
Jeez, that was bad.
I was voiced by Nolan North. My third nipple
Thank-
was voiced by Troy Baker.
All right. So the categories for day 2 of our podcast are. I almost read it as day 2, Jonathan, because that's what y'all motherfuckers wrote in here. Okay, so our categories for day 2 are. Hang on, wait.
Oh, Jesus.
They're all out of order. They're all out of order. I need to make sure I'm reading them out of order. I just realized they're out
in
of
order on the categories, Doc.
Yeah, but not on the schedule. I'm looking at the schedule, Michael. Okay. Anyway, who cares though? I'll read it. I'll read this. Okay, so for real, our
Well prepared.
categories for today. Our categories for today are best writing, best moment, scene, or level, best surprise, hella brokenest, and most disappointing game.
I have one more to add to Hell Brokenest.
Okay.
This podcast. Thanks, everybody.
Okay.
King Nipple does it again.
Good night, everybody. All right, let's get started with our nominees for best writing. They are That Dragon Cancer, Firewatch, Valhalla, Oxenfree, Zero Time Dilemma, Dreamfall Chapters, Two Interviewees, Sorcery, Hitman, Mafia 3, Phoenix Wright, Spirit of Justice, 1979 Revolution, Black Friday, Virginia, and Orwell. Now, if you didn't listen to yesterday's episode, I would like to remind everybody how we go through these things. We are going to go around. Each of us are going to choose a thing to cut. If we all agree, we'll cut it. If someone wants to argue for it, we'll argue for it. And depending on how the argument goes, we'll cut it or not. And we just keep going until we get to a smaller amount. And then we decide 3 winners, 1 absolute winner, and 2 runners-up. And the runners-up are not in any order. It's just a 1 and 2 runners-up. So, let's get started.
Do you want to read the write-ins from Ryan and Scott?
Yes, please.
All right. Does anyone want to read them in particular, or am I the de facto reader?
I can read Scott's if you want to read Ryan's.
Sure. Okay. All right. Best writing. Ryan says, should I do a Ryan accent?
No.
Howdy, y'all. As much as I like sorcery, I'm going to make the argument that since all the text of the game is taken from previously published books, that essentially disqualifies it from this category. Anyways, thus the award should go to Valhalla, a narrative-based game that lives or dies on its writing. And whoo doggy, does Valhalla live. Even having only played through the game once, I remember every single character that passes through that bar, or saloon if you want to call it that, like we do here in Texas. Anyways, I'm sure someone else will argue for this game as well, so that's just my 2 cents.
Never again. All right, Rose, please read Scott's write-in for best writing.
All right. Scott says Firewatch for best writing and says, Well, Firewatch's ending definitely left a lot of people with a sore taste in their mouths with how anticlimactic it was. I liked it. I liked it especially after going back and remembering all the other little details about the game. And a spoiler warning if you haven't finished the game. Considering everything you discover in Ned's cave and how it relates to all his actions throughout the game in relation to Henry is fascinating. Henry escapes his stressful life to take a Firewatch job, much like how Ned escapes the reality of his son passing away by hiding deeper into the wilderness. All the little plot threads, like the teens and research base, they all eventually fizzle and peter out. That's not how it's supposed to happen in a big production, but that's how it does happen in real life. Same with how you expect to meet Delilah at the end, but you're denied that as well. Things happen that are out of your control and eventually resolve, rarely, if ever, by your own input. Life doesn't sit and wait until you've finished a video game, or until you're done with your escape into the wilderness. Firewatch is about moving on and taking responsibility for the shit you need to do with your life, and I love it for that. Sorry if this is rambly, I wrote it at 7:30 in the morning, and haven't slept yet.
Great. Okay. Those are both good arguments.
Mm-hmm.
But, so, again, real quick, Rose gave a little bit of warning, but from now on, we're not going to be really throwing out any warnings. This is your official big-ass spoiler warning. We are going to be talking about very specific moments in these games. We're going to be spoiling endings, so if you want to still play these games, stop listening, come back later. But for now, this is it. This is the official spoiler warning. Now, let's get to cutting. So how about we start with... Niall, how about we start with you, because you weren't on yesterday.
Right, sure. Before we started this, I was pretty sure it was going to win, but Michael's reading of Ryan's input there makes me want to cut Valhalla. I'm not going to, but I almost want to out of spite.
That actually wasn't me. That was just a recording of Ryan's voices.
Yeah, sure.
That's great.
Yeah. This is tough because there is a lot of really well-written games on here. I think I'm going to go for Zero Time Dilemma. I didn't manage to finish it. I'm not sure if anyone else played it. And while I liked the writing in what I played, I didn't see how any of it ended, so I can't back it up as to how it ends or, you know. And I remember Austin telling us that there was some shit in there that was maybe not so good, so I'm gonna maybe cut that.
All right.
I don't even know what that game is.
I'd only heard negative things from... I had like a couple friends who liked it, but more than not, I heard some negative things about the ending, so...
Okay.
All right. Michael, how about you next?
I have a knife in my hand. I am ready to cut.
All right, go for it.
All right. I cut John.
Oh.
So that Phoenix Wright game.
Yeah, okay, so I was the only one who played this, and I will be the first to admit that it doesn't hang with the rest of these games. I think it's a well-written Phoenix Wright game. It's a well-written game in general, but A, it doesn't hang, and B, you have to have played every other Phoenix Wright game for basically anything that happens in that game to make any lick of sense.
Oh, that's a shame.
So go ahead and cut it, but, you know, it's good. It's a very good game.
Yeah.
All right, Rose, you're up.
I looked all of these up, so this is tough to choose, but I'm gonna ask, is Orwell really like, is it the writing of that game, or is it like what that game does that's impressive?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think the way they weave the story is really smart and well told. I think it stands on its own 2 feet from a writing perspective. I would personally put it on this list, but if nobody else is going to fight for it or really thinks it's worthy, I'm okay with letting it go.
I'd want to wait and see what this
yeah.
list turns out to be before we just cut it.
Definitely.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah,
But I do definitely think, like, it's not so much like a linear narrative in the way I think most people would expect a game to be, because you're sort of piecing things together from various websites and from chat logs and things like that, but everything is really well written and the characters have distinct personalities and voices, which is something like the game really does convey really well, despite a lack of voice acting or anything. Like, it's all through writing, so I think it stands on that merit.
All right, yeah, I can. Yeah, I mean, I was just wondering if it was like more like oh, it's interesting that this thing is written this way or whatever, and less like, oh, that writing was really good.
No, the writing is legitimately good.
Then all right, yeah, let's keep that. All right, 2 interviewees. I think I'll go for next.
I'll explain the game a bit, and then everyone else can decide, because that game has like a little soft spot in my heart for it.
I mean, we played it on stream at one point.
It's a real short game, but you are controlling 2 people, a man and a woman, who are going into what I assume is essentially the same interview. And you make choices for both of them. And so whatever choice you make is for both of them. Like, when you're getting ready in the morning, do you wear jewelry? You know, a woman would, by social standards, would want to wear jewelry, but a man wouldn't. So when you say yes, the interviewer will react differently to the woman than to the man. And that's all reflected in like a little screen that appears below each interviewee of, like, I think the woman, it's like pretty, and I think for the man it's like looks weird, gay, just because he wears jewelry. And they do that for everything. Just every answer you give, every choice you make, it affects whether or not you get hired, how the interviewer like reacts to you, and so on. The only knock I'd have against it is that it's short, so it's hard to like put it up against a Valhalla, when Valhalla is like hours upon hours, and this is probably done in like 15 minutes.
Sure. So would
also I would say that that game has a good message, but I think the actual like writing and some of the choices, like I remember some of the things we picked, we were like, oh, okay, that kind of didn't make sense. Like, yeah. I remember some of that being really frustrating and a little off.
Sure, it's it's made by a guy in France, so I imagine that has something to do with translation rather than poor writing. Yeah, but I like that's not exactly defense.
Yeah, but I think John is right in that the message of that game is more effective than the actual writing.
Sure. I'm fine with cutting it. I just wanted to give it some like perspective.
Of course.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh boy. Oh man, this is tough already. I'm gonna go for I'm gonna go for Hitman.
You're wrong.
I think from what I've seen, from what I've heard, I think that game has some really funny like quips, and like all the NPCs are funny, but I don't think it's like up there. You know, it's like all this chuckle worthy, like, oh, that person said something really weird, haha. But I don't think it's like up there with all these other games. You know, I don't see it hanging.
Sure. I mean, all I can say is a lot of the goofiness that is baked within that game is the ways you can kill people and the ways you interact with people. And it's the way you interact with people is often just the weird little side things they say, whether it's just a dude telling you as a waiter to like smile and you'll get a bigger tip, and you as Agent 47 are like, whatever, I'm not a waiter, but a part of you is like, you listen, you asshole, like I just put this waiter outfit on. But also,
I'll kill you later, buddy.
Yeah, but also like the quips that, like the setups, when you do the opportunities that set up a kill, like there's one in a consulate where you pretend to be a masseur, and you go and you give this guy the massage, and he's your target, and he'll just say things like, boy, my neck is killing me. And your option is to snap his neck. Like,
yeah,
they are shitty 80s one-liners, but they will just sit there and spit them out over and over and over again, to where it's like, which one of these is the juiciest one that I want to like do? Like, while I'm pretending to be the therapist for this like neurotic killer drug dealer dude, what line triggers me to say, all right, now I'm going to smother you with the pillow? Like, all that stuff is great, and it adds a lot of flavor to what could be like a especially when you get good at it, a by the numbers kind of opportunity or like hit. I think it adds tons of flavor and goofiness to the entire game.
Yeah,
For sure.
I think the ambient dialogue in Hitman is really, really good, but at the same time, I think some of the actual story is pretty cliche and
Yeah, it's a Hitman story, and it's not great. Like that stuff. I watched it once, and now whenever it comes on after I go back through Paris or something, I just skip it.
Yeah,
Of course.
Because it's just a cutscene. We can cut it, but game's great.
Sure.
Okay. All right, let's do one more round of cuts. Niall, what do you want to go with?
I think I'm going to cut Virginia, which I think is a really well-written game, really smartly told, despite the fact that there is no actual dialogue in that game. Like, the writing is all portrayed visually, but I just don't think it stands up to some of these other games.
Okay.
I want to play that. I
good.
hope I
Michael.
can.
All right, Michael, your turn.
Will follow my own sword and say sorcery. The game is nothing but its writing for a lot of it, but a lot of it is either, I don't know if it's taken word from word from the original books, but I think Ryan's kind of right, that the idea that it's kind of from that stuff and not written on its own kind of hinders it a little.
It's still a very cool game.
Oh yeah, it's incredible.
Totally.
I love it.
Okay. Rose, your turn.
So I've seen it, and I think a lot of the stuff it tries to do is good, but I might say Mafia 3.
Yeah, I think so. I think that game has some really good character writing, but again, I think maybe the story is a little generic and a little... I think it mishandles certain things that it's trying to do. Like, I really appreciate that they're trying to tell a very serious story about race, and I think the framing of it as a documentary is really good. But I think they kind of bungle some of it as well. Like, some of those characters are just straight up like bad racial stereotypes, which I think kind of, is out of place in a game that is trying to buck those kinds of trends, and then to have like the Haitian voodoo woman and the Irish drunk and the Italian greasy mobster guy, like, it just kind of, it draws this weird like parallel to the very like well told story of the main character, to have all those characters be just so generic and cliche. So I'm fine with cutting it.
Does it keep the documentary motif the entire time?
Yeah, it does.
Oh, that's kind of awesome.
It's really, really well told in that sense. So
Okay. All right, so I just want to ask about it. This isn't me saying to cut it, but Niall, tell me about 1979 Revolution.
So 1979 Revolution takes place from the point of view of a photojournalist during the revolution in Iran at that time, and specifically on Black Friday and the events leading up to it. It's written by Brian Wood, who is a really well known comic book writer. And it feels like a comic book in a lot of ways. Like, the way the story is paced and told, and the shots that they use and the scenes that they build. It's very much like a comic book as a game. I think it does a decent enough job at portraying like the protests and the like brutality against the people of Iran at that point in time, but I feel like it might be a little bit overly sensationalized. I mean that's kind of par for the course, I guess, for a video game, but I feel like there are parts of it that maybe you look at and you go like, well, that couldn't possibly have happened, or like this is kind of stretching what they're trying to tell in a way that doesn't quite feel right. Like, it's still really well written, but I just feel like it maybe doesn't stand up to some of these other games. And it's really short too. It's like 90 minutes long, so it's more like watching a movie or reading a comic than a traditional games story would be, I guess.
Does it is it like feel like an actual like comic book where you're kind of reading a more entertaining, sensationalized version of something? Okay, so it's not like I'm reading a historical document that's been layered some paint on it to make it look better and feel better and more entertaining.
Yeah, there are elements of it where like so you can take photos during the game of certain things that are happening around the world, and when you do that, it'll like show you the real life photo of that moment from that day, and kind of explain that stuff. But at the same time, like I said, it does really feel like a comic book, which you can take that as a positive or a negative, but because it's trying to present itself so much as this like account of violence against the people of a nation and like the torture that they went through, I'm not quite sure that it feeling so much like a comic book is really like the right way to go about that.
All right, I feel like maybe we should cut it then.
Okay.
It sounds like an interesting game, and I definitely want to give it a shot, but yeah, that does seem a little... Alright, so let's go over what we have. I think we could probably pick our top 3 from this. We have That Dragon Cancer, Firewatch, Valhalla, Oxenfree, Dreamfall Chapters, and Orwell.
What is Dreamfall Chapters? What is that?
It's an episodic story-based game that finished this year after a couple of years. I actually think it might be one that we could cut, because if you haven't played the original Dreamfall or The Longest Journey, I don't think you could jump into it not knowing who those characters are. I think it's very much like, as opposed to these other games where you can just fall into them and immediately know everything that's going on and the worlds that they're building. It's a game that very much assumes you have played those other games in the series and know everything and who these characters are and their past.
Of course. Okay.
Alright.
Does anyone want to make an argument for Oxenfree for writing?
This is my personal opinion. I liked it more than Firewatch.
Okay.
Mostly because I have some issues with how Firewatch handles its opening part.
Okay, so how about Rose? How about you talk about Oxenfree, and then you can talk about what you don't like about Firewatch.
Okay. I think Oxenfree is a great step further than like the teen type of like teens lost or whatever on an island or whatever, dealing with like mysterious forces, that trope type thing. I think it handles it well. It does fall into those tropes and stuff, but it always does it like well. So it feels like interesting to at least like piece together what happened or whatever, and having it like end up not being like so trite that when the reveals come it's not disappointing. I like how it unfolded. I liked like all the twists along the way. I liked listening to like all the things on the radio, just adding to it. Like that's not necessarily the writing of the game, but the inclusion of them. Like, I don't know. I really liked how it played out, and like I played it in a single sitting, so like it just kept grabbing me and making me want to play it more.
Okay. Now Firewatch.
I like Firewatch, but one of my biggest issues with it is that it felt to me like it was supposed to be a game mostly about Henry, but then also about his relationship with Delilah, and I really didn't like how at the beginning they immediately cut out the most important part of a relationship building, which is that time after the initial meeting, and then it immediately jumped to they're like best friends now. I really didn't like that. It felt like, why not just start me at the part where they're already best friends if you're going to do that?
Okay.
How about this? Valhalla and Dragon Cancer are on this list.
Sure.
Does anyone have, like, mad objections to either one of those?
Of course, I don't have an objection to Valhalla, but I didn't play Cancer, so
My only objection to that dragon being on this list is that there are a couple of times when it maybe feels a little bit exploitative of their son in a weird way. But yeah, I don't know that I'd put it on this list personally.
Okay.
I would.
that's fine. You know,
Yeah, I wouldn't either. But also, like, I think that game is its writing. Like,
It is totally
first
yeah.
and foremost, so like I would be comfortable with it, I think, mostly because like it is a good example, I guess, of writing. While I agree with your points, definitely.
I mean, I didn't play it unless, John, you have an argument for it. It seems like this is off this list.
I didn't play it. Niall did, and like reading Niall's review, I hear Niall's argument that there are some like
Sure.
kind of uncomfortable thoughts about that game, and also like, I mean, I don't know if I would say it's exactly a part of the writing, but like that go-kart bit, like,
That is insane, that go-kart bit. It is such a jarring, like, shift in tone, and it's... Like, I get what it's going for, but it misses so badly, and it just kind of leaves you going, okay...
yeah,
like-
I feel like something like that makes it maybe not up to par, because Jesus, like,
Okay.
ooh, why would they, like that's? I feel like that's just such a huge slip. But
Well,
yeah,
it's cut then. So,
okay,
so
so-
this is a three-way fight between Firewatch, Oxenfree, and Orwell for runner-up.
we have to cut one game.
Yeah. Firewatch. I have not played the three that are left to completion. I played the beginning of Firewatch, and it made me cry, and I could not continue because of how hard it hit me. So for that, I would say it should go on, even though I didn't finish it, and I don't even know what you guys are talking about where it jumps, because I just didn't get that far. So for me, like, games don't do that, and it's a shame that more games don't do that, but I was like sobbing, weeping, and had to stop. So I can't I can't think of another game that has ever made me stop playing it because of that emotional reaction.
Okay, I think that's fair.
Yeah.
I think when I first played through Firewatch, I was like really down on the ending of that game, but over time I've kind of softened on it, and I think Scott made a really good point, and kind of articulated better than I could why I've kind of come around on it. So I would be perfectly fine with Firewatch being on this list.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't hate Firewatch. I quite liked it. I even liked the ending when I finished it. I thought that it was like, okay, good. This isn't just, oh, it's the government conspiracy or whatever. It was very more, it was much more personal, which is basically that game. It's very personal.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate that. And I honestly have no problem with it being on this list, especially if it gave Michael the reaction it did.
All right, I'll go ahead and bold it, and then someone else can have the knife fight between Oxenfree and Orwell.
I feel like that's kind of up to Rose and Niall, because I didn't play either of those. So
I think personally I would go for Orwell, just because that game, like, it really does do such a good job at building a world and characters despite, very limited interactivity and no voice acting, and really there's only like one cutscene in that whole game, and it's at the start to like set the world up. And I think as well Orwell kind of it made me kind of sit there and go, oh, okay, fuck, this is probably actually happening in real life. Like, I mean, and the fact, like, in Orwell you play as somebody outside this facility of the United States who has been contracted to spy on people in the United States by the United States, even though it's not called that. And then at the end you find out that they've been spying on you at the same time, and they've probably been spying on tons of other people outside the country, and that kind of made me go, oh yeah, this isn't just like the US government is spying on its own citizens, it's actively spying on fucking everybody in the world that has an internet connection. And I kind of was like, oh man, I have maybe shared things online that I shouldn't have, and that's probably sitting in a folder somewhere in this like fucking CIA or somewhere, like buried in a server along with everyone I know. Like it's
that map that says world domination across the top of it was a bad joke to make. Oh god.
Yeah. You know, like it kind of made me go, oh, this is not positing like the future in 20 years. This is positing 2017, and it like actually says like the game is set in 2017. Like this is happening. This is probably actually what's going on right now, and that's kind of terrifying. Like I think Orwell might be like the best horror game of the year in a weird way. And I think the way that it just like made me step back and be like, oh, I gotta watch myself. I gotta watch what I'm saying. Like, oh, and I probably do it way less than most people, like as far as sharing things online about myself. And I'm still like, oh, I don't like this, you know? So that would be my major push for Orwell on this list.
I feel like Niall has swayed me.
Is Oxenfree, does it have like strong writing, or is it or does it have writing that is also reinforced by sound design and some of the cool weird things they do?
I think that it definitely has strong writing.
Totally.
It's okay. It's very personal as well. Like it's not to go too far into spoilers, but a lot of the game is about the main character dealing with her brother's death a year before, and being with her new stepbrother, and that weird scenario, being stuck on this island with this dude you barely know and stuff, and all these people are talking about it. But while I really like it, I think Orwell doesn't have voice acting. Orwell doesn't have all the other stuff or whatever that Oxenfree is like the best at, so I think I would give it to Orwell just because it seems like that's the strongest part of that game.
Okay.
I mean, it's arguably the only part of that game, really. in some ways.
All right, so are we giving this one to Valhalla?
Only because I felt like the battle for 2 and 3 was so kind of like not really contentious, but just sort of like, these are all pretty good, but none of them are like fantastic, blow me away. And then there's Valhalla, just waiting.
Yeah, Valhalla was just like, y'all remember how we made you like that dog with the sunglasses? Yeah.
Fuck yeah, Rad Sheba.
Fuck yeah, we'll get to Rad Sheba later. So I guess that's it. So the winner for best writing.
Do we want to like maybe expand on why we're giving this to Valhalla, because we haven't discussed it at all. Really.
All right, you know, okay, I'll do that real quick. So Valhalla. What can be said about Valhalla? No,
please.
It's just I'm kidding around. So Valhalla has just it's a masterclass in world building, in my opinion. Like how you play as like such a like that world is a very standard cyberpunk world, but the way that you explore it is through the eyes of somebody that would be in the background of one scene of a cyberpunk movie. You know, like Jill is, to put it bluntly, she's a nobody in the grand scheme of things, like in the entire world, but you come to really care for her and the people around her, and it shows just how involved you as a person can become in people's lives just by hanging out with them and lending an ear, and you can help people out with their problems
and getting them drunk.
And you can get them wasted as shit, and you can
listen to all their problems and then find out all about them.
Yeah, you can find out how upset they are. You can find out how much they fuck. You know, there's so many things you can learn about all these different characters, and it creates such an interesting world, and you just get completely absorbed in just like every aspect of that game, like the phone, like logging onto Danger U and seeing like all the people reacting to the world around them, and it's very realistic in like it's realistic in a 4chan way, but it's still very realistic seeing those people be like, oh, this is what's happening, fuck that,
it's done in a nonchalant way of like how conversations between people you kind of know and people who are your friends and people who are strangers, it's done through those conversations, and that's how you pick up the context of, oh, this place is cyberpunk, oh, there's this, oh, they're massive corporate, like you, slowly but surely, the world builds itself, but just through the normal conversations that you would have every day. And
yeah,
it's
like nobody,
how much
nobody's
context you can bring from that stuff.
Yeah, like nobody's coming up to you and being like, I can't believe Super Megacorp just absorbed another 100,000 lives. Blah, blah, blah. Like nobody's like spelling it out for you exactly.
Yeah.
They're just kind of like, yeah,
Do you see
that's how things are
yeah,
around
it's
here.
like, did you see that shit down the street? That was crazy. Or like, oh, what's happening around the corner? I hear stuff. Like that is how it informs you. So
Yeah.
it does a great job of that.
Yeah, Jill's just like, another explosion down the road. All right, I'll fix you something. It's like it's so like every day, and but they make it very realistic.
It's cyberpunk cheers.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
Okay,
And it has Red Shiba.
Yeah.
And there's Red Shiba.
Yep. And
So,
Jim,
yeah,
Jim
the winner-
Sterling.
Yeah, Jim Sterling is in that game too. Okay, so the winner of Best Writing is Valhalla, with the runners-up Firewatch and Orwell. Congratulations to our winners. All right, let's move on to Best Moment, Scene, or Level. There's quite a few here. Okay. They are Anor Londo, hope I said that right, in Dark Souls 3.
Yeah.
The night in the hospital, that Dragon Cancer. When everyone started playing Pokemon Go and the world fell into chaos. E1M1 from Doom 2016. Fulfilling the requirements of the weird alien creatures in Stardew Valley. Taking out Gary Busey in Hitman. Ripping insert organ here out of insert demon here in Doom. Getting Plague of the Game in Overwatch. Baron Saturday's Funhouse in Mafia 3. Super Hot is the most original FPS I've played in years. Inception in Titanfall 2. Quicksilver in Titanfall 2. Drinking with your boss in Valhalla. Elevator going up / people can fly in Gears 4. LB to do what in Titanfall 2? The final fight with Lusumine in Sun and Moon. The Elite Four and ending in Sun and Moon. The Cyber Driver quest in Watch Dogs 2. Getting the big robot in Gears 4. The Perfect Cup in Final Fantasy 15. Swelter Skelter in Watch Dogs 2. And removing the Hell Energy modules in Doom.
I think some of that Titanfall 2 was all the same stuff, just no one wanted to spoil it, so they all said it in different ways.
Jeez.
Want to read the write-ins real quick?
Yes, please.
All right.
Yes, Michael, you go ahead and do Ryan's, and
Yep.
then Rose, if you could.
Yeehaw! I'm going to say either M1 of Doom or play the game from Overwatch. Giddy up, E1M1 was immensely satisfying, a sort of over-the-top return to the king, I can't believe this is really happening kind of way. And for a moment, I was a kid experiencing the original Doom on my dad's computer again. Overwatch's play of the game is satisfying in a different kind of way, usually delivering a great sense of accomplishment for a job well done in a method both bombastic and cinematic. It's a cool mechanic, and I struggle to think of any other games that wrap up a match so well.
I
thank
barely
you.
understood a word of that.
Don't blame me. Blame Ryan's thick accent.
Please.
All right. Scott says that the best moment is Pokemon Go when everyone started playing it, etc., etc. While this might not qualify as a traditional moment in the sense of the category, the total sea change in society that occurred after this game's release was massive. People died and got arrested in real life. Pokemon Go had serious real-world ramifications, and while the stories of people driving off cliffs were completely wild and mostly false, it did encourage a group of young people to get out there and walk more. It brought a lot of people together. For me, it was a really fun activity to do on dates instead of just getting food or watching a movie. It changed the way a lot of people went about their lives on a regular basis. For the few months that it was popular, the world was a better place. And then, the rest of 2016 happened. But I don't think Pokemon Go should be remembered as a passing fad.
All right. Let's get to cutting. Michael, you're up.
Hello. All right. I'm gonna cut one of my own and cut the elevator going up Gears of War 4 thing. There's a scene.
Explain what that is, though.
There's a scene early on when you have to go down in these mines, and you take an elevator down, and it essentially crashes at the very bottom. And you go and accomplish the thing you need to accomplish, and when you come back to that elevator, the only way to go up is to cut the counterweights, and then it has a scene where you are holding on to the elevator wire along with the three other people in your party, just zooming all the way up this elevator shaft as monsters fall down, as like scaffolding falls down. There are like explosive barrels you can shoot and you just have your pistol in your other hand. The explosive barrels explode, and sometimes you need to do that to like remove debris or kill enemies even though most of them are falling. And then at the very top, the top of the elevator starts to the like structure that's holding it together starts to like fall over. So you essentially start to, instead of going straight up, you start to like bend and fly around a bit instead of just in one direction. And it's actually a really neat kind of set piece moment for especially a Gears franchise, which didn't really do those in the first two.
Sure.
But it's kind of short, and it's not really indicative of the rest of that game. And all you really do is, for the most part, is you don't even have to do anything. There's like two or three things where you have to shoot at something. The rest is just sort of for fun. So I don't know. Unless you guys want to keep it around, I'm going to cut it.
I'm good.
Yeah.
Sounds neat, but yeah. All right, Rose, you're up.
Michael, which of these Titanfall 2 moments do you like the least?
They're all the same, I'm pretty sure.
Oh.
Jesus.
I don't know.
Right.
I know which ones I added. Inception and Quicksilver. Essentially, what I mean is the time travel stuff. That entire kind of section I thought was really good, and it ends with to give it some context, you hit LB and you can time travel. And you switch between your current timeline and when everything was okay. So you're on a planet, and the building you're in is like some research facility. And when you go through it, it's empty, it's abandoned. But when you time travel, there are people in it, there are scientists, there are guards. And to get around certain stuff, like you might walk in a room in your timeline and the floor might be gone and underneath is just fire. But if you time travel, then it's back. But there might be guards in that room. So you have to quickly jump on the wall, then time travel so you're not shot at, and then jump down, and then you're safe on the other side. And that all leads to the very end where there's an explosion and time freezes. I think except for you, it's been a while since I played this, and I played a lot since then, but time freezes and you kind of just run through everything, and you're the only one who can move, if I remember that correctly. So that entire level, but specifically the time travel, is kind of fantastic.
So I want to pose this as a retort as someone who has played Dishonored 2.
Mm-hmm.
That exact sequence is in Dishonored 2.
Like time traveling to change... Oh, that's weird.
With the same button and everything.
That's weird.
And if I could just say, I played Titanfall 2 and I hated that level. Like,
wow.
You're like the only one.
I know I'm like the only one, but I was like, oh, this is just going and going and going, and this is not really that good. Like, it just did nothing for me personally.
Oh, I thought it was great. Specifically,
I know
because
I'm like the only one, but yeah.
Specifically because like every other game that is like that, the Call of Duties, the Battlefields, all they want you to do is run and shoot, and that is it. And this game said, well, if all you do is shoot for 7 hours, that's not very exciting. So how about in just this section, you get this time traveling thing, and that'll make your maneuvering and your timing almost kind of Portal puzzle-like, and then you also get to shoot some. And they don't even let you keep it for the rest of the game because, and this almost argues for the whole thing, but they don't let you keep it for the rest of the game, so it makes that section even more fun because it's not here's this thing you're going to use for the rest of the game. It's like, here's this fun section. Okay, let's move on to the next one. That's part of the reason I liked it so much, is because it introduces it within like the hour 2 or hour 1 of the game, like after the tutorial stuff, and then it's just like, all right, that was fun. Next part. So that's why I liked it. I think we should at least cut some of these repetitive ones.
Yeah, jeez.
I'm not sure who else put this stuff. I'll keep LB to do what.
All right, you can keep it for now. What is Baron Saturday's Funhouse?
It is the only part of Mafia 3 that's any fun. It is basically, it is like the first real major mission of the game. It takes place in an abandoned horror theme park on the edge of the bayou, so it's like flooded, and like all the rides are still working, so you have like this evil Baron Saturday like talking shit at you while you go through and kill like all these gang members and stuff, and it's just really atmospheric. And then you go through the haunted house at the end to find the sort of underboss, and then you hang him from the Ferris wheel, which is how you end that whole level. I'm not doing it justice, but it is a really, really good level. I would also be fine with cutting it because there are better things, I think, on this list. But
Okay.
I'd say we keep it for now, just to see what ends up on this list.
If you want it, but I would also be fine with seeing it go.
Jeez, we're making Rose run the gauntlet.
Okay, do we know what the Cyberdrive request is? I tried to find it.
Yeah, it's basically Knight Rider exists in Watch Dogs 2, and there's a new trailer for it that comes out, and it sucks, and it makes fun of DedSec, so you decide to basically steal the car and have some fun with it, basically, is that whole quest line. It's okay.
Would it still be good if you didn't know what Knight Rider was or didn't care? Or would it just seem like you're stealing a car that talks?
Yeah, I think it would probably seem like that if you didn't know what Knight Rider was. I don't know that it hangs with anything else on this. It's fun, it's silly, but
Okay.
yeah, I wouldn't say it hangs.
Okay.
All right. It goes.
All right. So I'm going to do something that none of you could guess would happen. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say that we should cut the cup from Final Fantasy 15. Look.
I don't know what that is, but okay.
Listen.
I'm fine with it. Cut it. Get rid of it. Whatever. I don't know what it is.
Okay.
It's probably not good.
Okay. All right, I'm going to explain what it is.
Sure. Is it perfect?
Because
It's 30 seconds. I could just link it.
It's
me.
fucked up.
Hit
It's
me.
fucked up.
Hit me with the link.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah,
let me find
let's
it.
Show Michael. I almost like it'd be work, but there's like a part of me that wants to just be like, Niall, edit this audio in because it's fucking horrendous.
All right. It's your own Twitter. Great. All right. Here we go. What? What?
Look, it's just
Wait,
it's
wait, okay, hold on. I have questions.
Yes.
Was that the entirety of a single mission?
No, so the rest of the mission involves So you reunite with Gladio after a mission, and he goes, while you were gone, I got really into cup noodles. And you go, okay. And he goes, what if we made the ultimate cup noodle? And you go, all right. And like the entire time you're figuring out like, what should we put in this? And he's like, oh, we should kill a behemoth and we should put its meat inside the cup of noodles. And like the entire time you're talking to all these people to find out where the behemoth is, he's like, we gotta hurry, man. We gotta make the perfect cup. We gotta make the perfect cup. And then you make it, and that just plays. And it's really surreal.
Like, that game seems like a lot of weird, surreal stuff in some of the parts, and I'm not necessarily won over by that. But if someone can make an argument...
Look, all I'm going to say is, that part is fucking hilarious. Do not get me wrong. I love it. I love it. I love it. It is an advertisement for a brand. It is a fucking advertisement. It's so goddamn stupid, and I kind of don't want to hand an award to an advertisement for cup fucking noodles.
All right.
No matter how much it makes me laugh. Like, no matter how much I think of the phrase custom cup, and it makes me laugh.
The way that Noctis says, I know I sure do.
I know I sure do.
Like, it's fine.
God.
No, go ahead. It's fine. There are better things on here. It's fine.
I'm sorry, but I had to do what I had to do. I'm sorry, Rose.
It's
Please forgive
okay.
me.
It's okay.
Okay, Niall, your turn.
I am going to cut Swelter Skelter from Watch Dogs 2, which is, for those who haven't played it, basically Burning Man. I think it's a really funny scene and everything, but I think from a gameplay standpoint, it's just like a pretty standard hacking minigame, which is a shame because you could probably do something a lot better with Burning Man as a thing to make fun of, but, you know, It's alright, but it doesn't hang with any of the rest of this.
Okay. Alright, Michael, you're up.
I have a question.
Okay.
I don't remember if this came up last year or not. Are we limiting this to... There are going to be 3 finalists and a winner. So 3 total.
Well, yeah.
Are we limiting it to 1 slot per game? Meaning that since Doom is on here twice at least, 3 times, sorry, does that mean Doom can only win 1 slot and not the other 2?
I don't remember how other things have shaken out.
Yeah.
But if one game has enough great moments, scenes, or levels to fill out all 3 slots, sure, why not? But
Okay.
you know, I mean, I think we should all like argue. Just don't think of it that way. Just think about arguing for each one separately, and then if it just ends up like that somehow, then that's how it ended up.
Good for that game. Well, unless someone else here knows what the hell Lando is in Dark Souls 3.
I am going to argue this one, Michael.
Have fun.
Ooh.
Go at it.
All right.
Is it in Dark Souls 3? Oh, well done.
Yeah. No, so listen. I think it's really impressive. I'm going to assume the reason I think Scott added this. I'm going to assume the reason he added it is because the way that it is presented is very clever. Basically, you're going through this area called Irithyll of the Boreal Valley. It's like a snowy valley inside of a mountain.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going through this like normal city area or whatever. And after you beat the first boss, you walk up this like big walkway, and you start climbing up the tops of these roofs on these like buildings. And then all of a sudden you're like, this feels really familiar. Why does this feel familiar? And then you get to this elevator, which is like the Dark Souls 1 elevator when you get to Anor Londo. And you're like, uh-huh. And then you just go up the elevator and instantly you're just at the front gate of Anor Londo because you came through the other way you never went in Dark Souls 1. And it just says Anor Londo. And it's like, they're not making a big deal out of you being here. It's just like, this is years and years after Dark Souls 1, and it's like, it wasn't hyped up like it was in Dark Souls 1. It's just part of another area now.
That
makes
sounds
sense.
really neat, but I don't care because it's it's Dark Souls making a reference to Dark Souls.
But I think like it's not making a bombastic reference to it, I think is why I like it so much. It's just sort of like, yeah, it's here. Like, it's not like, holy shit, you're an Anne Orlando. It's like, it's not telling you until you like get up to the gate.
Sure.
That's
Yeah.
kind of cool. I think that's cool.
All
Yeah,
right,
like-
I'll go and cut something else then.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Don't be sorry. It just sounds terrible. Don't worry.
Oh.
What is whoever added Super Hot is the most original FPS I've played in years? What does that mean?
Okay, so the ending of Super Hot is fucking crazy because what you do is it plays the whole like pretty standard twist that you're controlling another actual human being and you're like killing actual people and doing what you're doing.
Like the movie Gamer.
Basically, it's but the way that the game actually ends is there is a scene where you are trying to upload something to a mainframe, and they're not exactly telling you what it is. They're just like, you need to upload this. You need to make sure that nobody stops you from uploading this. So after you finish uploading this file, it turns out that you are uploading your own consciousness to a collective. And the last thing that you have to kill as your controlled character is your normal human form. So you're giving yourself to the hive mind. And then after you kill yourself, basically, the game just goes, now that you've given yourself to the hive mind, you have to go out and post on social media that Super Hot is the most original FPS I've played in years, because you are a part of us now and you need to get the information out so more people can join us. And I just thought that was really funny. Maybe that's not as like smart to y'all as it was to me, because I was just like, oh, that's really clever. But I liked what they did with that, because they were just kind of playing around with the idea of like the collective like I thought it was playing around with how people react to things on social media, especially how people reacted to Super Hot initially. Like when that original demo came out, it was just people just all saying the exact same thing over and over. Like, yes, I love Super Hot. Go play it. Go play it. Go play it. And I thought that was kind of playing around with that initial thought process. But I could also see it as I could also see the argument of, oh, that's just kind of like a bad Black Mirror episode where they're like, oh, but what if social media was bad? So I mean, I can understand if you don't think that's cool, but I thought that they did it.
I like how you made a long argument for it and are now arguing against it.
No, I'm just saying I can understand if you don't like it, but I thought it was cool.
I think that sounds cool. I'm gonna cut Gary Busey. Then.
All right.
I thought that was neat. I think that's amazing. I hope they keep doing it. I like that they're doing like the Santa holiday stuff now, but
Sure, yeah.
like
You can go, yeah.
I think part of it was that it was a elusive target.
An elusive target, yeah.
So I never got to play it. And it's sad that I can't go back and just play that. I would love to play it even if I didn't get like the whatever item you get for it, I would love to go back and play that. But
Okay.
He's being Gary Busey.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's great.
All right. Okay, so that was Michael. Rose?
I love the game, and I love the character this is involved with, but I'm gonna cut Drinking with Your Boss from Valhalla.
Honestly, I'm fine with that going.
Me too.
I think there are some moments on here that are just better than that. As much as I like that scene and those characters, yeah.
All right. Okay. I can let that go. All right, my turn. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go for the ripping the organs out of the demons from Doom, just because
What are you talking about?
I think that, like, I think it feels good to do glory kills in that game, but I feel like after a while it becomes like it's such a flow that it stops becoming like this thing that's like this active like response. Is more like I feel like the best part of that game is the flow. It is the getting into the flow of killing a bunch of enemies and just running around and getting good at that game. I feel like saying that the absolute best part is the glory kill is almost in a way undercutting how great everything about the combat of that game is. Like,
but I think that the glory kill totally plays into that because you need to do them, especially on harder difficulties, to get health and to get ammo. So it plays into the rhythm of the game. Like, you need to be running around, like, because even on like the smaller, easier to kill demons, you can't run up and hit them with the shotgun because you want to be able to glory kill them. So you can't like run up real close. You have to get like within a certain distance. So you really have to like play around and manipulate and kind of play around with everything. And even sometimes it behooves you not to get headshots on even more powerful demons because you want to get the glory kill. And then it also feels fucking good to kill a demon glory kill style. And not just even the lower ones, like even the bosses, when you're like shoving their fangs through their heads and ripping out their eyeballs. And you're doing it, and like, especially when you kill the big Kako demons, the big floating eyeball guys, and they just burst with ammo and health, and it's great because you just had this long battle, and you finally get it down, and you just rip it apart, and then it just bursts with all these goodies. That is part of the great. That is a great part of that game.
Okay.
Would you say like E1M1 is better, or removing the hell energy modules?
I don't exactly remember E1M1 or I don't know exactly what removing the hell modules is.
See, all right.
It's been a while
you know,
since I played Doom.
You know, I'm gonna change my vote because Michael, you make a good point. I'm gonna vote for E1M1.
All right.
Just because now listen, I'm just gonna say, I think again, I feel like this is a specific vote for something that is in all honesty very general, because they put a lot of little snippets of classic levels in that game, and they let you play them like once you unlock them and all that, and that's cool. But you know, I mean, E1M1's a fantastic level, but I just
what is that? Is that something
it's
I
the
missed?
opening level.
Is E1M1?
Yeah,
just the music, or
that's the name of the opening level of Doom.
Oh, is
yeah.
Like the
no, not
like
just
the whole
classic
first
thing.
level?
It's the whole first level. Yeah.
So it's just.
I mean, that is a good level.
It's
Yeah,
just
that's
called
why I was going to
E1M1.
argue. Yeah, that's what, because it's supposed to be like the original Doom, because that the first level on that one's E1M1 too.
Oh, if that's all that is, hold on. Ryan wrote it up, but Ryan doesn't really explain it.
Yeah, he just said it was like playing Doom on. Like, I mean,
I think we cut it.
like,
If
that's a good level, but
I mean, if it was like the Wolfenstein thing where you find a room and you're suddenly playing Wolfenstein 3D, but instead you're just playing original Doom, that's what I kind of thought this was.
I don't.
If none of us here know exactly what it is, then I think we cut
I
it.
was okay. I was thinking that it was the first
Yeah,
level
fair
because I was going to argue like that first level for Doom is really
It's
really
good.
good.
It is
great. It is
like
really
it
good.
sets the tone immediately. Like, oh wow, no, this is a great game.
Sure, but
Yeah,
I
right
would
away.
argue that's just the game, and that just happens to be the beginning of it. Like,
I guess, but
You
like,
could-
what a
you
strong
could-
start.
sure, but you could play the third level of that game and be like, "Holy fuck, Doom!" Like it.
yeah,
I don't know. Like, you're right,
Okay.
but I also think that's just Doom.
okay.
But him punching the fucking elevator when it's like, oh, the demons are
Yeah.
out, and like,
We'll kind of talk about that in a second. All right, so let me go over what we have real quick, and then we'll do some more cut. Or you know what? No, wait, no. Niall, you do one, and then we'll go over.
I'm gonna remove Baron Saturday's Funhouse.
Okay.
I don't think
All
it
right.
stands with some of this stuff.
Okay. So what we have left over is An Orlando, The Night in the Hospital, and That Dragon Cancer, Pokemon Go, Filling the Requirements of the Aliens in Stardew Valley, ripping and tearing. Overwatch play of the game, the super hot bit, LB to do what? The final fight with Lisa Mine in Pokemon, the Elite Four and ending in Sun and Moon, getting the big robot in Gears 4, and removing the Hell Energy modules in Doom. Alright, Michael, you go.
I'm going to do Stardew Valley.
Yeah.
Fulfilling that stuff for the weird alien creatures takes so long, and it's just it feels so good when you finally do one of them, but they like it's kind of anticlimactic because even though it opens up some stuff for you, you then realize like, oh, I have to do all of these, and it's you just like suddenly it goes from, whew, that's off my radar. Like, what do I do now? Like, oh, I have to fish a lot, and if you don't like the fish, like, oh, it highlights one of the things in the game you don't like to do. Maybe I think it's a cool moment, but it's not like what that game is about, and I don't think it really stands next to some of these others.
Okay. What exactly do you get? Because I know that you get like some items and some boosts for doing it, but is there a specific thing that you get for filling all of them?
I did not play that for thousands of hours, so I don't know.
So if you fill all of them, you renovate the
Community
like town
center.
hall, and then you get the broken down bus outside your farm is accessible after that. You can go to the desert and go through that dungeon there.
But that's not all. Because I unlocked that by only completing a few of them. I don't know what happens when you do all of them, other than the community centers
I thought that was what happened. Maybe I'm misremembering.
Because I think a couple of them does the bus.
That's right. Yeah, it's the bus isn't for all of them. I think the bus is when you raised a certain amount of money, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Doesn't help
But
that this came out in like April.
Yeah.
And none of us
February,
had.
I think. Like
Yeah. None of us had 300 hours to do it all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. So that was Michael.
Yes.
Rose, your turn.
Michael, how good was getting the big robot in Gears 4?
So, everyone knows what a Gears of War game plays like, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. I didn't even notice this in the trailers of this game, but there's a big-ass robot. So you like fight some robots along the way, and then you fight with Marcus Phoenix for a little bit. He just fights along your side. He's an old man Phoenix. And then at some point, he like calls his friends, and there's this like friend reunion. And one of the guys from the original Gears of Wars turns out to be the guy who's made all these robots. And he has a present for you. It's a big-ass fucking robot, like a giant mech, like a goddamn Gundam. And all the creatures and all the dumb locust things that have been giving you trouble, you can now not only shoot at them with like a buzzsaw gun that just shoots out buzzsaws, you can hit left bumper and a helicopter, you target them, and a helicopter, once you let go of left bumper, will shoot missiles at them. So you just run through the final level of the game in this big-ass fucking robot. So you go from... And you can also take cover in the robot, because why the fuck not? So you go from, hiding behind, very obvious cover to, running through towns and running through wooden bridges and hiding behind buildings, and it's fucking terrific.
That sounds pretty tight.
That does sound pretty good.
It can go if everyone thinks other stuff will survive, because I know this is a tough list, but that was such a fucking, I liked Gears of War 4, but to go through that game and man, this it's a little more lighthearted, but it's still like Gears. It still plays like Gears, and then it's like, oh, by the way, you want a mech? It's like, yeah, I do. Like, all right, have fun with this mech. It's like, oh, okay, cool. And then it's like, all right, that was it. See you later. That was your mech fun. That was the end of the game, was this mech. It's fucking great.
Mm-hmm.
So which would you say you like more, LB time travel in Titanfall 2 or LB mech in Gears of War 4?
It's time travel.
Okay.
Because the time travel, I think that integrated with the game better.
All right.
Okay.
Sure.
Whereas
there you go.
the
There's
robot
our
was
answer.
just a fucking robot. Were we cutting it?
I guess so.
Sure.
Okay.
That sounds tight as hell, but sure.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fucking great.
All right. Okay, so I'm going to do everyone a bit of a service, and I'm going to cut one of the Pokemon things.
Please.
Okay. I'm gonna cut the Elite Four bit, but I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna explain what that part is. Basically, throughout like the last fourth of the game, the professor is talking to you about like, oh, I'm going to establish a Pokemon League in Alola for the first time. So the last little bit, you see like glimpses of him here and there, just like getting ready to start up the Pokemon League. And then once you finish all the island challenges, he says, "All right, you're ready to take on the league." You go up the mountain to the Pokemon League, and you find out that most of the Kahunas, which were kind of like the big bosses of the areas, have now become the Elite Four. And you fight the Elite Four. And you're about to become the first Pokemon champion of Alola, and then the professor walks up and says, "Oh, not yet. You have to battle me now." So for the first time, which this was something that was actually supposed to be in Red and Blue, you fight the professor, and he's got really great Pokemon, and he's got the fully evolved form of the Pokemon that you and your rival didn't pick. So I think it's a really neat bit, and it's something that has been a long time coming, like fighting the professor and also being the first, like it literally says when you're finished, you are the first champion of Alola. And then I haven't gotten to it yet, but there are bits where you have to actually make sure that you retain that title. Like people will challenge you for that title. So you have to
like you cut it.
So
I don't know, I think that's cool.
for me, the part with the ending that gets me is like everything that comes after you beat the Elite Four is just like a big celebration, and it has like all the characters are there and they're interacting with each other, and there's great closure for like what had happened in the other main plot of the game, with those characters meeting up with you, and everyone's just having a good time, and everyone's like, you know, like you did a really good job out there, and it was just like it warmed my heart. You know, like it was just this is nice.
Yeah, throughout that entire game, like I think I mentioned it in my review, where like throughout that entire game, there is at least one or two people standing behind you at all times, just being like, "This is a challenge, and I know you can do it." And it was really heartwarming, just being like, "Yeah, we're gonna take this on, we're gonna do it." And even like all the trial captains and the Kahunas, they're like, I mean, they're not explicitly like, "Oh, you could just steamroll over me. Who gives a shit?" But they're like trying to give you a challenge, but they're giving you that challenge because they know that you're capable. And I thought that was cool.
Okay, let's move on.
Okay.
It's cut. Let's not talk about Pokemon for another half hour.
Okay. Niall, your turn.
Tell me about the fight with Lucamine.
Okay. We're back to Pokemon. Okay, so Lucamine is the lady all in white with the like long like carapace ass hair. And she is the leader of the Aether Foundation, and they are introduced as basically a Pokemon protection society. But as time goes on, it turns out that Lucamine is more for just finding Pokemon that she finds beautiful and preserving them in ice, basically. Just like she wants to just have like these, like she doesn't really want to save Pokemon. She wants to save them for herself. So she finds out about these things called Ultra Beasts, and they are basically Pokemon from another dimension. And she uses her power, or like the Aether Foundation's like science, to create rifts to access these Ultra Beasts. And one of these beasts once you find out later on about it, it's like Nihilego or something like that. And she's obsessed with it. And her obsession with this and the Ultra Beast has made her extremely distant and basically abusive to her children, who are Lily and Gladion. Who Lily is your female companion throughout the game, and Gladion is the male. He's the like chunny guy who's always like holding his hand like he's got the fire burning through it. So you end up going into the Ultra Beast's dimension with Lusamine to like get her out and to convince her to stop doing what she's doing with Lily, and Lusamine just in her in her whacked out like evil, I deserve to be with my Ultra Beasts forever. She actually fuses with a Nihilego and just turns into this huge jellyfish ass, like it's crazy. Like when I saw
When
it
did
happening,
this
I was
turn
like,
into a Final Fantasy game? What the fuck?
I was like, this is happening in a Pokemon game. Like, she is turning into a giant squid monster before me. And then the funniest part is she still battles you with her Pokemon. Like, she's still throwing out Pokeballs. Like, for a second, I thought that I was going to actually have to attack her, but then she sent out her Clefable, and I was just like, oh, okay, like... But then after that, you defeat her, and Lily actually stands up to her and is like, no, I know you're my mother, but what you're doing is wrong, not only to, like, society and the laws of nature, but you have mistreated me and my brother. And like there's just this really great scene of Lily standing up to her mother, and then once Lusamine like unfuses with the Nihilego, Lily like basically has to be like, you know what, yeah, like she's my mother and she did some really terrible things, but I'm gonna try to help her out, because when she becomes unseparated from the Nihilego, she's like in a coma. So Lily kind of just takes it upon herself to try to like cure her and help her like basically reform. And I don't know, I thought that it was a really well handled story, and I thought her turning into a giant squid thing was bonkers. And I don't know, I just especially for a Pokemon game, I was like, this is some kind of heavy stuff, but they handle it well, and that's impressive.
You had me until she fused with the Pokemon Ultra Beast thing.
I think
that's when you lost me.
Like, the main thing to me that's really good about it is, like John mentioned, the part about the daughter and stuff. Like, you get to see basically the effects before you find out like why she is the way she is. You get to see like her daughter is really upset like all the time and very like shy and anxious about a lot of stuff, and then you find out it's because her mother is a very abusive person. And like the fact that a Pokemon's like game's climax isn't like you fighting the legendary Pokemon or anything, it's you're helping this girl stand up to her abusive mother, I thought that was pretty impressive.
Mm-hmm. Like,
Coupled
sure,
with,
you're right that it is like really bombastic, because like, it's fucking crazy what happens. But
I like the idea of everything but that, because I feel like that makes it ridiculous and kind of, like I said, like that happens in Final Fantasy games. That's kind of cliche within some like Japanese fiction. So the idea that here is this very serious underlining tone to this fight, but she's a jellyfish. I
think it definitely in action it is less bombastic than it sounds. Like, it all happens so like quickly and like deliberately that it's like when you don't have
time
to like reflect.
Yeah, you're not like, oh, this is ridiculous. You're like, oh shit. Like,
and also in the context of Pokemon, and especially in those games, like the actual Pokemon creatures are so ingrained in society that like a Pokemon being involved in something like that, even one who is this otherworldly being, and even one that is like fusing with someone, like the way that they describe Nihilego, like later on in the game, they're even like, Nihilego will oftentimes fuse with people to like bring about their innermost, like basically just to amplify like evil feelings within them. So like that also kind of that might explain a little bit of like how Lusamine might have gotten to be like that, or at the very least gotten that bad. Or
that actually takes it away a bit, because it's no longer Lusamine's fault. Now it's this Pokemon's fault that she abused her daughter. It was crazy.
Yeah, it wasn't so much that. It was more like they explained like the reason she fuses is because of that. She was obsessed with it. Yeah. So like, for example, Guzma, the Team Skull Man, he also has backgrounds of like an abusive father. And so when they amplify like their core trait or whatever inside the other dimension, he's like afraid and running away instead of being like this big dumb asshole that he usually is.
Oh wait, there are more fuses?
No, he doesn't
No,
fuse.
he-
No, like
Okay.
he's
But
it's just around
in the
like
realm.
that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it sort of amplifies your feelings.
I like most of that. But the
right,
fucking
yeah,
jellyfish fight.
All right, I'll we can cut that because you're right that there are some bits that do undermine the.
I mean,
the
I'm not saying
real-
cut it. I'm just saying most of that sounds great.
Yeah.
I'd say we should
Okay.
revisit it, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I'm fine
okay.
with that.
Okay. Okay.
So instead, I think maybe removing the hell energy modules in Doom.
What
As
is that
funny as
again?
Yeah, I don't
That's
know.
when the dude Samuel Hayden is like, okay, you need to carefully remove these
right.
things so as not to break them, and then you just put your foot through them. Which
Yeah,
is
that's really, good.
funny, but I don't know that it stands up to some of this stuff.
Yeah, that is
Okay.
really good.
It
I'll
is
cut
good,
it.
though.
But holy fuck, I forgot about that.
It's really good.
And I remember even thinking like, oh, there's no way this is going to be done carefully. And then he's just like, yeah, whatever, fuck it. I'm going to break. Or it's the same thing when you pick up the upgrades. He's just like, now you can, and you just crush it in your hand.
Yeah,
Shit's great. That shit's great.
but just seeing him put his foot through it is just so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just so perfectly timed. Just Samuel Hayden just be like, carefully remove, and then just, and then he's like, I just love at first he's just like, I really need to work on telling this guy what I mean and how much I mean it, because he doesn't really start getting like super panicky until the last one, and he's just like, please, I beg you, do not destroy it. Like it's so good. Like, but yeah, remove that. I think we could probably narrow it down now. We're down to just a handful. So,
Do you want to read them out?
yes. Okay, so we have Anne Orlando from Dark Souls, The Night in the Hospital from That Dragon Cancer, Pokemon Go, Ripping Out the Organs, Play the Game in Overwatch, Super Hot, LB to do what? And the Lucamine fight.
I think this list is Pokemon Go, Play the Game, and Ripping Out Organs.
I think you're crazy because I think The Night in the Hospital walks away with this from That Dragon Cancer.
Tell us about it.
The Night in the Hospital is basically you are in the hospital overnight with your son. He is screaming in pain and agony, and you are basically walking around the hospital room and the bathroom and everything, and you are trying everything you can to calm him down or to ease his pain in any way you can, and nothing works, and you just like this blood curdling scream of pain that just like it sounds so real, and the narration is just like so panicked, and it gets across this feeling of terror and hopelessness and just like despair in a way that I don't think I have ever seen any game do. It is like heartbreaking. Like it is so real that it takes you out of the world and puts you into the shoes of Ryan Green in that moment, and you feel the despair as your child just screams and is like so clearly in so much pain and like is dying, and there's nothing you can do about it, and it's so intense. Like Michael was talking earlier about how the opening of Firewatch brought him to tears, and this did the same for me. Like like it is legitimately so hard to sit through that 5-10 minute span. Like it is just like it just gets you in a way that I don't think games ever have for me personally before. Like it is.
Okay.
So can we cut Dark Souls?
Okay.
All right.
Compared to what Niall just said, I don't think.
Sure.
Okay.
And I think it's a 4-way race between Night of the Hospital, Pokemon Go, Doom, and Overwatch.
All right. Here's what I'm going to say. I don't know how I feel about Pokemon Go being in this category for that.
I don't know how I feel about it either.
I don't think it's Pokemon Go. I think it's just what Pokemon Go does. I don't even think it's like... I think Pokemon Go is just a means to an end in this case. Like,
Sure, but my only argument would be the only other category I could see us really giving that a nod to is best surprise.
I
and I don't think it was much of a surprise.
Let's
Let's
not think of it like
Sure.
that. Let's not think of it like that.
But also, that was a moment. Like, that was a weird, surreal...
That is a moment in time.
Yeah, that is, I don't think we need to adhere to this category that harshly.
no, I know. It's just
Like, going down to, the hip area... Not really the hip area, but, Ybor here in Tampa, where it is mostly bars and, that's it, and some clubs later at night, and just seeing these nerds, these nerdy nerds, these fucking troops of nerds, myself included, running around, phones out, giggling, laughing. It's like stopping other people on the street to talk about Pokemon. Just complete and utter strangers just stopping each other and then just talking for a while. That I've never seen that. I've seen that happen, but not with hundreds of people in this one area. And the only reason they were all there was because there was just a bunch of Pokemon Go shit there. That was that was incredible. That I've never seen that happen, and I've never seen it happen with a video game.
Yeah,
Ever.
Pokemon Go was legitimately a phenomenon. Like, you see pictures of people like there was that one picture where it was where it just showed this gigantic group of 50 or even 100 people standing on a beach, and it just said there was a Blastoise in the water. That's crazy. And
Or the New York sprint in what was it, Central Park. Somebody found a rare Pokemon in Central Park, and there was just a mass of people just sprinting down a New York City street and just clogging everything, looking for a fake Pokemon on the phone.
Yeah.
I don't know. To me, that could have been anything. It's not because it was Pokemon Go.
I think it was directly because it was this.
It was Pokemon.
It was this alternative reality Pokemon game. I think it hit nostalgia just right. If that was Digimon Go, there would have been one person on the street, and he would not have talked to me because I would have been like, I really like Agumon. And he would have just said, Andrew Woolman's my favorite, and walked away. It is because it was Pokemon Go.
I guess. I just, for me, it's difficult because it just doesn't seem we've talked about the product itself is kind of not great.
But this has nothing to do with the product itself. This has to do
but that's
with
part of why it's tough for me to rationalize it.
It has nothing to do with the product itself. It is the moment. Gears of War had fucking great moments. I don't think that's the greatest game this year, but the moments were some fantastic ones. Too bad it didn't get higher on this list, but that's just how it works out. You have to ignore that the game was not that great and just go for what that was in that 2 weeks.
I guess, but it just seems to me at that case, would we then say oh well, people reacting over No Man's Sky was crazy? Is that a best moment because it's wild?
The only argument I would make for Pokemon Go, trumping that, is because Pokemon Go has to interact with the physical world. No Man's Sky, no one had to go onto their subreddit and complain. Pokemon Go, you had to go out and you had to explore and you had to walk around, and that led to people interacting and stuff. But you definitely had to be out, and just being in a spot where there were a bunch of Pokemon Go stuff and seeing all these people around, it was surreal. It was like putting on the glasses in that movie with Rowdy. Yeah, it's like They Live. You put on the glasses, but instead of seeing a bunch of aliens, you see a bunch of nerds, and it was great.
All right.
I think that's a good case for it.
Yeah, that's my argument.
Absolutely. I would say that our top three should be the Hospital, Pokemon Go, and Play the Game.
Sure.
And just to rationalize Play the Game, that was also a phenomenon. I just remember everyone just as soon as Overwatch came out, everyone was making jokes with play of the game, and I mean, especially in the context of that game, it's incredible just like seeing your name and that having your highlight and then getting to see how you helped sway a match. Even if it's not a winning play, it still did something to turn the tide to your team's favor. And I just think that's really cool that they built something like that into that game and made it feel so good and made it feel like you were contributing.
My only argument against it would be I deserve it more often than it doesn't give it to me.
All right.
Does everyone agree with that list?
Yeah.
That's fine with me.
Okay. All right, and the winner?
What wins?
I think it's got to be that dragon,
Like,
personally.
I want to give Niall that because it does seem like that would be a crucial part of that game and something that you wouldn't see from most games. My personal one would be Overwatch, though, mostly because that was something that like I was always looking forward to. Like, it's that moment you're always looking forward to in something.
Thing is, I deserve it more often. I'm a really good Mei. I get kills with Mei. People don't do that. I snipe people with the little ice thing. I get headshots.
I know what you're saying because I play Ana, and she never gets play of the game, so...
I get play of the game with D.Va at least once every time I play.
Shut up. Yeah, I'm going to say it's that night in the hospital.
Okay. All right, so the winner of the best moment, scene, or level, almost, I'm not going to lie, it almost feels a little weird saying best moment, but I guess most
it does, doesn't
most powerful moment. Let's go with that.
Mm-hmm.
Most powerful moment, or iconic, most iconic moment is the night in the hospital and that Dragon Cancer, with runners-up, Pokemon Go, just when it happened, and play the game in Overwatch. All right, folks, we're halfway through today.
No, we're not.
No, we're not.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Five categories.
Well, one category is,
Okay,
It's short.
We'll see how it goes. Okay, best surprise. This is the game that snuck up on us and wowed us the most. The nominees are Stardew Valley, Doom, Valhalla, Devil Daggers, Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth, The Witness, Overwatch, Darkest Dungeon, Hitman, Thumper, Shadow Warrior 2, Dragon Quest Builders, 1979 Revolution Black Friday, Pokemon Go, Orwell, Blue Revolver, Melty Blood, Let It Die, and Titanfall 2. Okay, so let us hear the write-ins for Best Surprise.
Right.
It's been a while since we did that.
Yeah. Rose, you want to go first this time?
Sure, let me just find on the list where it is.
Yeah. I had to find Ryan's.
Where is this?
I can go real quick.
Sure, go. While I find... Okay. Wait.
Howdy,
mine's-
y'all. You ready?
Go ahead,
right.
Sorry.
Howdy, y'all, with me. I'm back again. It's Ryan. This one goes to Stardew Valley. The only other ones I can think y'all would actually argue over would be Doom, Overwatch, and VA11 Hall A. However, Doom was a highly anticipated game coming from a studio which had previously proven they could deliver the goods on revitalizing old FPS games like with Wolfenstein The New Order. That's actually not true. The different studios did this. Mm-hmm. But I know what he means.
Same publisher.
Yeah, different studios. I think it did help with Wolfenstein, but it was some other studio. Machine Games?
Yep.
Sledgehammer? Something.
Mm-hmm.
You're right.
Yeah.
Overwatch is better than it had any rights to be, but again, it was a big game with plenty of hype and extensive beta periods coming from a studio that's consistently put out popular games. Valhalla is good as hell, but there were plenty of expectations before the game was officially released. What with the developers releasing both a demo and a soundtrack sampler well before the game hit the market. The only one which came completely out of left field was Stardew Valley, which seemed to appear out of nowhere and absolutely consumed everyone's free time. It was a game that, quite literally, surprised me with how good it was, and it continued to surprise me, the sheer amount of time I poured into it. You could also argue Hitman as a runner-up for this category, but that's largely thanks to the sheer incompetence involved in conveying what the hell that game was when it got announced. Did we even know? Okay, Hitman's nominated. All right, that's it.
Okay, Rose.
All right, so the reason I missed this is it's... Okay. Best surprise is Doom for Scott. Nobody expected this game to be good at all. Surprise, it's way better than people expected. I was surprised by that.
Thanks, Scott.
Good work.
All right, well, Rose, you make the first cut this time.
Okay. I'm going to say... well, that's a little... I'm going to say Digimon Story. And my reasoning is that every video I've seen of that game makes it look like a Neptunia clone, and every JRPG coming out is a Neptunia clone. And
What the fuck are you
that's the
talking
least surprising
about?
thing to me.
I thought
What?
it looked more like a Persona clone, personally.
Look, I'm not going to say that that game is, like, the greatest thing in the world.
It isn't.
It's not. That's why it's on Best Surprise and not anything else so far. But the fact that it's a pretty competent Digimon game is a pretty big surprise, considering there hasn't been a good one of those ever. And I kind of feel weird cutting that at least so soon.
Okay.
I
And it's
Alright,
nothing
great.
like Neptunia. It is nothing like Neptunia. I have played Neptunia games, unfortunately, and that is nothing like
Hey.
it. So, no, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Neptunia games are fine.
Oh, all right. Jeez.
I'm just
I was
kidding.
letting you keep it and take these pot shots. All right.
I'm sorry, Rose.
All right. The Witness, because, well, say whatever anyone wanted to say.
Eh.
I mean, that game had a lot of hype for years around it. I don't know that it was a surprise.
No.
I was surprised it came out.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Game releasing, if like that's the criteria, then Final Fantasy 15 probably should win this.
Yeah, Last
Last
Guardian's
Guardian.
on here.
Yeah.
All right, my turn, and I am going to pick. I'm gonna pick Overwatch.
Sure.
I'm a
So-
little surprised that that game is even on this list.
So my argument against this would be, if you had told me any company would come out, even Blizzard would come and try to make an esport focused team game, and then it would end up being based off of Team Fortress 2, essentially, I would have told you were insane. Because, like,
I'm not gonna lie. I feel like if you had said anyone other than Blizzard, I would agree with you. But if someone said, "Oh yeah, Blizzard's doing that," I would have been like, "All right."
except for they have recently tried to make Strike While the Iron's Hot with Heroes of the Storm, which was an esports focused MOBA, and while that's not unsuccessful, how many people remember Heroes of the Storm on any given day? Whereas Overwatch fucking wasn't just sort of this thing that went off in the background, it's huge.
Yeah,
Like,
but also, like,
I'm fine cutting
Over-
but that's my
Yeah.
argument.
Overwatch also had, like, numerous beta periods,
Yeah.
and everyone knew it was going to be really good before it was ever released.
Sure, but I would like
Sure.
there's like the beta is still part of the game. Like I know it's before it, but that just means wow, this game's actually good. Like
I
instead
guess.
of
Yeah.
this game's just not a Team Fortress clone with hats. Like look at Team Fortress and how they charge you for hats and how they unlock things for all that crap, and then look at how Blizzard does it, and they're just like, no, it just drops, and you can pay us more for it, and they still are better at events than Team Fortress 2 ever was. They have better character design. They have a shit ton of characters, and they all play well together. But yeah, I'll cut it because I don't think I'm winning this argument.
Nah,
You tried.
Yeah.
you tried. Niall, your turn.
Oh, jeez. I'm going to cut Pokemon Go because it's not a good game.
All right. Yeah. I'm with
Okay.
you.
Cut.
No objections. Great. Michael.
Melty Blood.
Oh!
I
It's a
can-
port. It's a port. It's a
Yeah,
port.
an
The game
old port.
existed. Yeah. The game existed. It's a port.
All right, fair enough, but I just want to say the times that we had with that game were special, Michael, and they did kind of come out of nowhere. We were just
Yeah,
like,
sure.
oh shit, this rules!
But we could like find another old like PS1 era anime fighting game and probably have similar experience.
All right, yeah.
I like Melty, but
All right.
I think the best surprise related to that game could be how the grand finals for that game were on a fucking convention floor on a laptop. Like,
that's not surprising.
I'm actually about to add something here.
Uh-oh.
Now that I think of it.
Oh, fuck that! Did that game? Did that game come out this year?
I'm sorry, but can we add something in the middle of the categories?
No, Niall just put down Nitro Plus Blasters. I don't even think that game actually came out this year. I thought that came out last year.
It came out. No, the original one came out last year. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, Heroine's Infinite Duel came out this year.
Oh.
Well, I mean that game's good, but I mean,
you might say it's the best fighting game of
who? Yeah, I mean, you might say that, but
no.
why?
Yeah, if you haven't played KOF, Pokken,
hold on,
fucking what?
Pump the brakes.
Okay.
As much as I'd like to have this argument, we have started this category.
Yeah,
and I don't think it's fair to add something mid discussion.
Enough.
Also, I think there's already enough resistance from John's Pokken, whatever dumb shit that he's gonna bring up.
Don't call it dumb. I swear. Ooh, okay, Rose.
I'm going to say this might just be me because I followed the Kickstarter when it was announced to completion, but I might say Stardew Valley just because like I knew about that game and it was gonna be Harvest Moon and I knew it was gonna be good because I saw the gameplay for like months and it was like, yeah, that looks like Harvest Moon, and then it came out and I was like, yeah, it's good. Okay.
I had never heard of it.
Yeah, I feel like that game blew up in a way that most people didn't even expect, you know?
I guess so. For me, it was just like, wow, they put Harvest Moon on the PC, where no Harvest Moons games have ever been. Like, of course, a ton of people bought it.
I don't know. I feel like for the general populace, especially the general consensus of the site, I almost feel like it would be safe to say that Stardew Valley is one of the three, almost.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
That's what I'm saying. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but I'm just saying cutting it is kind of crazy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Darkest Dungeon is what I'm going to say, even though I like that game.
I agree. Because I agree with this because of the argument you just gave to Stardew Valley, and that like I'd seen Darkest Dungeon a lot last year, and then if you had told me like Kaida didn't even believe it came out this year, I had to go and check.
Mm-hmm. So it was in early access forever.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Michael. No, wait.
No,
Niall.
you.
Not. Oh
you.
Wait, no, it is me. Shit.
Yeah. You established this order.
I know. I'd rather y'all do it. I don't want to cut them. It hurts.
Shut up.
Okay. All right. Shadow Warrior 2.
Yeah, that can go. It's a really good game. It kind of came out of nowhere, but
Shadow Warrior 1 was really good too.
Yeah,
so
it was. Yeah. So,
I got a lot of emails that said Wang alert.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I deleted them.
There's a lot of dick jokes in that game. So
I still get emails that say Wang alert. I delete them.
Fantastic. Yep. All right. Now it's Niall's turn. No, Michael's turn.
No, Niall's.
Niall. It's Niall's turn.
For fuck's sake.
I'm gonna cut 1979 Revolution.
Okay.
Like I said before, a good game, but I don't think it really hangs here.
Okay. Now it's Michael's turn.
Yeah. Dragon Quest Builders.
Wow.
I was surprised by it, but I think Austin saw it at E3, and I know there was a group of people who were really... I know at E3 there was scuttlebutt about it. I just thought it was just going to be another JRPG with cheap Minecraft clone, but it was something different. I don't think enough people were like actually surprised by it.
I was going to let you have it because I was like, wow, Square Enix made a Minecraft clone and it was good. Like...
Yeah, there are a ton of Minecraft clones, and to say that this one just happens to, like, I think I argued about it. I don't remember where, maybe just in my head, but like they made a Minecraft clone, but they have literally fixed everything that was wrong with Minecraft and has been wrong with Minecraft since Minecraft became a thing. and I don't think that's necessarily like surprising. I guess I'm more surprised it took people this long to do that. So I'm gonna cut it. I just don't think
All
it
right.
hangs. It's a great game. People should go play it. Go play it.
Okay, after Michael is Rose now,
Jesus.
right?
Let It Die. Like, I think it's surprising that it came out like immediately after the
Sure.
experience. I think that's surprising, and that it was free. But
I don't think people will be talking about that in a month.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna do y'all another favor. I'm sorry, Blue Revolver. I'm the only one who played you.
It's a shmup. Is it just not? Is it like any better than any other shmup other than it's got good sound and plays better?
I mean, like, it's a fantastically made game. It's got, it's like, I don't know, I feel like I'm kind of that it's kind of impossible to do it a good service just because so much of it is the presentation. So unless you actually sit someone down and you're like, look, this is what this game is, this is how you play it, this is all the options to how you can play it, go nuts. It's almost impossible to just be like, because you just kind of end up going, it's a good shmup and you can change the options. So, you know, I can understand it getting cut, but, you know, I think it's fantastic and more people should check it out. But I'm the only person who played it, so...
Yeah.
All right.
You want to read off what's left, and then go another round, and then decide.
There's
There's 9 things left.
Niall and Michael, you two do one, and then I'll read it off. All
Okay.
right. Okay, so Niall, you go first.
Okay. I'm going to say Devil Daggers, because that game is like fun for an hour, if that. I don't think it's really anything special, personally.
I don't even like that game, and I might be inclined to say that I still think it's pretty surprising because like so many people were talking about it.
They were talking about it for like a day. It didn't have the sticking power.
If this
People
list
forgot about that like immediately.
If this list weren't what it was, I would argue with you. But this list has a lot of fucking heavy hitters on it, so I think that game is unique and special in a cool way. But I haven't gone back to play it after the first handful of hours. So
Okay. All right, Michael, your turn.
Titanfall 2.
Okay.
I like the surprising thing about it was that there was a really good campaign in it. And I think that is still pretty surprising, but like the multiplayer is spot on like the first one's was. That campaign is just incredible, and I think I kind of put it on here just to give it like another wink and nod of like the game's great. So I think it surprised a lot of people that it ended up being as good as it was. I don't think it surprised people that it was good. So I'm gonna get rid of it. Game's great.
Okay. All right, let me go through what we have left for best surprise. We have Stardew Valley, Doom, Valhalla, Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth, Hitman, Thumper, and Orwell. All right, yeah, let's do one more round, and then we'll basically be there. So, Rose, your turn.
I think we should just hash it out since there's only 7 things left.
Okay, fair enough.
Digimon now, John?
As much as I like Hitman, and as much as I think Orwell and Thumper seem like incredible games, and as much as Digimon went back in time and shook 12-year-old, 10-year-old me and said, there'll be a good one of these one day, Stardew Valley, Doom, and Valhalla were all pretty surprising. And all pretty great.
I don't think Valhalla is that surprising. At least it wasn't to me.
Yeah.
Like, I played the Game Jam version, and I was like, oh, that'll be cool when they make that into a game. And then I played the prologue, and I was like, that's cool.
I forgot that had a demo and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there was
I-
hype around that.
I had never heard of it, and I didn't know that there was any hype until all of a sudden I heard about it. But if y'all heard about it, then that's fair.
Then I think it should get cut.
Okay.
Because I was like John, I had never heard about it, and then everyone was talking about it. And now that I think Ryan wrote about it, that there was a demo. I think they've gone back and like re-released it on Steam or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I remember like hearing about that game like 2 years ago and being like, "Oh, this looks really, really cool." So
Okay.
So can we?
I feel yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say like I feel like people were aware of that for a while before
Okay.
it came out. So
Okay.
I'm gonna highlight Doom and say, or not Doom, Stardew Valley, and say Stardew Valley's on this list.
All right.
Yes. Yes.
I would
s-
maybe argue Thumper could go.
Yeah, I was
Sure.
gonna say Thumper.
All right.
Yeah, because I was hearing about Thumper for like a year before it came out.
Okay. So what's left is Doom, Digimon, Hitman, and Orwell.
I'm gonna run something by y'all, and one of y'all are probably gonna yell at me. I think the other two should be Orwell and Digimon.
I don't. I think Doom is way more surprising than Digimon.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think the fact that Bethesda published, and mind you, yes, you're right that it is a separate developer, but after Wolfenstein, I think the fact that a talented group of people made another one of those really good first-person shooters isn't that surprising to me, especially now that Doom has come out and everyone's going like, they're gonna do Quake next, and then they're gonna do like all these other classic first-person shooters. Like, people keep bringing all these up, and it's like it's starting to become a trend, and I almost feel like that's less surprising now.
It
Wait,
was still
like-
pretty surprising.
Doom can't be
Yeah.
less surprising because they're remaking Quake after Doom came out. That's
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that like that.
Doom 3 was not well received by almost everybody, and
except
then
me.
and then they stopped making Doom.
Yeah.
And then they said, we're going to make Doom. And as good as Wolfenstein was, not a lot of people fucking, like, went gaga over it. It was well received, but not like Doom was. Like,
think-
people went nuts over this Doom in ways that they haven't since, like, Doom 2.
Yeah, I think the main thing was that, like, especially after Doom 3 was the last one, and that was more of, like, a horror game almost. Like, deliberate, like, corridors and stuff. The fact that, like, this reboot of Doom wasn't just, hey, here's, like, a corridor slow shooter like Call of Duty clone. Like, I think that's surprising in itself, because, like, that seemed like... I mean, that's what I thought that game was going to be, because they didn't show any gameplay until this year, I think. Or at least
Yeah,
last...
and
No,
then,
they showed it at E3 last year.
Oh, right, yeah.
and then that multiplayer beta was really bad.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
okay. All right.
I would almost argue that it should be Stardew Valley, Doom, and Hitman, because I think leading up to Hitman's release, they first like announced it, and then it got delayed, and then they were like, "We're gonna maybe do this in a weird way," and everyone was kind of looking at it like, "Oh, this game sounds like a mess." Like there were stories coming out of Square Enix that, you know, like maybe this game is a train wreck. This is possibly going to be really, really bad, and then it came out, and everyone was like, "Oh, holy shit, this is actually like the best Hitman game that they've ever made." You know, so I would almost argue Hitman should be the third here.
If you're going to say Hitman over Orwell, then I will go with you.
Okay.
Yeah, because I mean, from the first time I heard anything about Orwell, I was like, this is probably going to be good. But I feel like Hitman had a tumultuous development cycle that kind of led to people approaching it with like an air of caution.
Yeah, or at least the PR before it of like, it's episodic, but you can't buy it on disc, and you still cannot buy that game on disc. It's fucking crazy.
Right.
And, like, it wasn't-
I'm so inclined to include Digimon, but I can't muster
Okay.
the argument.
Okay. So what wins? I'm gonna throw my hat in for Stardew, but
I would say Doom, but that's my take.
I would say Hitman, honestly.
Michael,
all right, Michael.
Ryan says Stardew,
Okay.
and Scott says Doom.
Michael, come on.
If you say Hitman, I'm gonna reach through the computer and strangle you.
Well, I wouldn't have, but I have a cohort who knows the true way of life, and that way is Hitman. Listen, Doom was surprising, but there is a truth to the idea that, like, it was coming from id. Bethesda clearly had a plan, like they did for Wolfenstein. And Stardew Valley was surprising as hell, considering that I thought I would never like one of those games, but then there it was. But fucking Hitman, I would have bet money that thing was going to be a train wreck. And even if it wasn't, and even if it somehow worked with its always online, episodic, fucking exclusive target, temporarily only available for like a week, 48-hour things, I would have never thought it would have been good, let alone one of the best games of the year. And that's Hitman. Hitman is great.
Okay.
That game went from 0 to a bajillion.
All right, I like your argument. How are you all feeling?
I still feel it's Hitman.
I still
Okay,
feel it's
Rose.
Doom. So just it's up to you, John.
I think Michael gave a good argument, and I think we should go for Hitman. Because yeah, you're right. Like I remember seeing all those trailers, and like I was never really into Hitman, but seeing all those trailers, I was just like, all right, this kind of looks bleh. But then hearing that it was episodic and all this stuff, I'm pretty sure I like leaned over to like at E3. I think they announced that it was going to be episodic. I remember like leaning over to Michael or something and being like, "Oh, this isn't good," but it turned out good. So
I remember that first gameplay trailer where you're like sneaking around a party, and I thought it looked terrible because nobody was reacting to like anything you were doing. And now I play it, and it's like, it's great. It's fucking fantastic.
Okay. So the winner of Best Surprise goes to Hitman, with runners-up Stardew Valley and Doom. Okay. Our next category is Hella Brokenest. This is the game, or, this the thing in gaming in general, that has the most bugs, glitches, or it's otherwise unplayable. Michael, would you like to read Ryan's write-in?
Do you want to
Do you want to read the nominations? Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
like
Right.
we have the last couple times.
Okay, I'm sorry. I apologize. Okay, so the nominees are No Man's Sky on PC, Kerbal Space Program on PS4, Telltale's Batman game on the PC, Mafia 3, The Journey in FIFA 17, Dishonored 2 on PC, PC ports in general, the PS4 Pro, Skyrim Remastered, and Watch Dogs 2 on PC. Michael, would you like to please read Ryan's write-ins for this category?
Ryan says, I'm going to toss this one to the majority of 2016's PC ports. The only one I specifically had any experience with was Telltale's Batman, but I know busted PC releases have abounded this year. Frankly, it's unacceptable. To give the award to a specific PC title would ignore the fact that this is a widespread issue and not simply an isolated incident of one or two games. PC, more like piss crap.
Okay, Rose, would you like to read us Scott's?
Yeah. All right. So Scott says Kerbal for the PS4, because while it's entirely shitty that all the PC games on this list are in a bad state, the problems with Kerbal's PS4 port are glaring to him. It's a downright unplayable version of a game at release, and while he can't find any evidence that it's fixed, he's seen posts of talking about how it's still broken from November. That's 4 months that it's been out on a console that you'd expect far more quality assurance from, which to him is downright unacceptable. He would also like to add that while he was playing Watch Dogs 2 on the PS4, he didn't experience any frame rate dips or slowdown, especially in large police chases and anything else totally wild. It was a perfectly fine experience that wasn't broken graphically or fidelity-wise.
Guess what, motherfucker? It's nominated for PC. No. All right. Okay, thank you very much for reading those, Michael and Rose. And I guess I go first for this one. I'm going to say we can cut. Oh boy. I'm not gonna lie, I actually haven't encountered any of these except for one of them, so it's a little hard for me to say. Niall, you played Mafia 3. Mm-hmm. Actually, you know what? Mafia 3... No, never mind. This is really hard. Dishonored 2? How does anyone feel about that?
It runs like garbage on a lot of people's PCs, but I've been able to run it relatively smoothly, except for the fact that... So the first time I played it for like an hour and a half, and it was fine, totally fine. I went to boot it up later that night, and it crashed every time I booted it up for about a week and a half, and then it randomly started working again and hasn't had a problem since. And I've had some of the better experiences from the sounds of it with that game. So I don't know. I feel like the moment to moment is okay enough for me, at least, that I can let it go from this list.
Okay. Alright. Niall, your turn.
I'm gonna cut the journey from FIFA 17 because, as broken as it was broken in ways that were funny. Like, players not loading in, but still, like, being active. Cutscenes where the characters would start freaking out and flying all over the place. Like, it was funny stuff, as opposed to stuff that made me just, like, frustrated and annoyed.
Okay. Michael.
How broken was No Man's Sky on PC?
It was pretty bad.
Yeah.
Did you play it on PC, Rose?
No, but I had friends who bought it and ended up refunding it because it would either straight up not run or it just ran so poorly that it was not even worth it. Just pick it up on PS4 instead.
Okay,
Yeah, like,
I'll leave it then.
Yeah.
Watch Dogs 2 PC, because I'm pretty sure haven't they updated and fixed that stuff or no?
They've updated it, but it doesn't run any better. So it has a lot of just frame rate drops, and like when it came out, it was way worse than it was, and it came out 2 weeks later on PC than it did on consoles. So they should theoretically have had the time to do something about these issues.
Yeah,
but it was still ridden with bugs when it came out. I guess it's a little better now, but like I'll still be, let's say, driving through the streets, and if I crash, the game just freezes for about 10 seconds as it processes what's going on, and then it'll unfreeze, or I'll be in the middle of a shootout and everything will just stop for a few seconds, or that kind of thing. It is a little better, I guess, than it was when it first came out, but it's still not very good.
Well, I think if it's been playable and it looks like it's getting better, I think that would make it better than a lot of the other things on this list.
I was gonna leave it and shift to the PS4 Pro and cut that, because like while the PS4 Pro is a shame, and they like every game should run better on that. Some games do. You can still run it. Like, it's not unplayable, and like from all what I've heard, it only affects like dramatically a handful of games, and they're working on it. So while it shouldn't be a problem in the first place, I would not call that broken, and certainly not brokenest. I would call that disappointing as shit.
Okay.
Let's
Sure.
cut the PS4 Pro. Okay, so we've got 3. Niall.
Nope.
Your turn.
No,
Nope.
Oh God,
Wait.
John.
No, wait, hang on.
We are going in the same order.
Okay, look, guess what? I'm stupid. Rose,
It's
please.
okay.
Are you falling asleep? Did you go to an anime convention earlier today?
No, shut up. No.
References.
I sang karaoke last night. Maybe that might be it. All right, Rose, I'm sorry. I apologize. Please.
That's okay. There are plenty of reasons for me to hate this thing. There are a lot of reasons to hate it in general, but Skyrim Remastered is not brokenest. It's broken the same way it has always been. It is more disappointing that they did not fix the bugs that have been in that game forever. They didn't implement any like mods that fixed that stuff. Like, 5 years ago when the first one came out, the same bugs are happening. There are a couple new ones, but like, who knows? Those bugs might have always existed too, because it doesn't seem like they did a lot for that game in general.
My only argument would be, wouldn't that make it the brokenest because it's still broken?
But like, it's
not unplayable.
Yeah, you can still play it. It's just like, it's disappointing. Like, wow, they did nothing for this.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So there's not that many on here, so I guess we could probably just get to the 3 here. I think.
You want to read off what's left real quick?
Oh, all right. So we have No Man's Sky for PC, Kerbal for PS4, Telltale Batman on PC, Mafia 3, PC ports in general, and Watch Dogs 2 on PC. I'm going to be honest, and I kind of feel like just saying PC ports in general is too general.
Sure, yeah.
I guess so.
I think it's important that we make that nod that, hey, for fuck's sake, PC ports are still not good. Like, and it's crazy that it's not, because consoles have never been this close to parity. But at the same time, I feel like I think we should be calling out specific instances in this award.
Sure. Yeah.
So,
is Mafia that fucked up?
Yeah, I was going to ask that.
I would let Mafia go here. Mafia, again, is like The Journey. Its fuck-ups are usually like in a way that's funny, where like a piece of geometry will glitch out and like become like the fucking end of Evangelion or something. Like, it is a little busted, and it does occasionally crash like straight out. The game just ends. But yeah, it doesn't hold water with some of these other ones, I don't think.
Of course.
Can I propose 2 that are guaranteed on this list?
Sure.
Go right ahead.
Batman and Kerbal.
Yeah, I would be okay with that.
Batman was broken, like, not just for me, not just for Ryan, but also for you, John, right?
Yes, absolutely. And it's completely unplayable. Like, starting up that game, as soon as you actually get into the game, it slows down to a crawl. And I haven't had a problem like that with any other Telltale game. Like, I've played plenty of other Telltale games on PC and on console, and yes, those games are buggy, but I've never had an issue to that magnitude where it was unplayable from second 1.
Yeah.
I legitimately wanted to give the game a shot, and I physically could not because of how broken it was.
Yeah, we were going to review it, and we can't, because every single person who has it literally cannot play it. And I when John was playing it, I think I tried to look up ways to solve it, and there are people having like problems, like the typical Telltale problems, and there are no solutions. They keep pumping out episodes, and they don't fix it, which is a shame. It's a real shame.
And Michael, would you like to just mention, talk about the Kerbal PS4 port, because you were the one who played it, and that sounded really, really rough.
Let's figure out the third one, and then I will make my argument for Kerbal.
Okay. I think the third one should be No Man's Sky.
But, like, didn't they slowly fix that stuff? Like, I don't remember hearing it was so broken.
It was...
Well, a big part of the reason why you weren't hearing about how broken it still was on PC was because nobody was still playing it. I would be inclined to give it to Watch Dogs 2, because before they started down the path of at least making Watch Dogs 2 playable, I could not play that game for longer than like 20 minutes without getting a headache. Like, it was that bad.
Oh boy.
Sure.
No Man's Sky, I could get to run at a consistent enough, like 25, 26 frames per second, at times going above, and it wasn't to the degree that I was having to put it down because I was getting a headache. I was putting it down because I was fucking bored because it's a shitty game. Like, Whereas Watch Dogs 2, I was just like, I can't play this any longer because I'm going to explode. Like, I think that kind of puts it over No Man's Sky for me.
Okay.
Any rebuttals?
I think that's a good argument.
I think that's a good argument. I just wonder, like, I don't know if No Man's Sky is still broken, but Watch Dogs 2 has only been out for a month. Like,
not even like a week and a half.
Oh, yeah. You're right. I thought it was the beginning of November.
No, because it came out 2 weeks later on
yep,
PC.
That's what I was realizing, yeah. Like,
yeah.
So, is No Man's Sky is still as broken as it is now, wouldn't that make it more broken than Watch Dogs? Like, even if Watch Dogs is bad, but they've started to get better, it's only been a week and a half.
It's so hard to parse what's broken with No Man's Sky, because as soon as you start talking about No Man's Sky, people just start talking about, like, oh my god, like, you can't do this in the game, and they promised it 2 years ago. Here's Sean Murray making a hand signal on The Tonight Show, and it means that this is in the game, and it's not there. Like, it's fucking impossible to parse any of that with No Man's Sky.
And I mean, I would also say that No Man's Sky, once I did get it fairly playable, even though it wasn't great, it was still better than Watch Dogs 2 currently is. Mm-hmm. Like, it would not stop for 10 to 15 seconds when something happened at times, you know?
And Watch Dogs comes from a developer that has made PC ports, whereas No Man's Sky, that's their first big AAA game, and it's, I don't know if it's more complicated than Watch Dogs, but it tries something
Probably.
different.
Mm-hmm.
So
sure.
Okay. I kind of feel like based on our experience. Okay.
Listen.
Right. Okay.
Kerbal Space Program on the PC runs relatively well, even on my piece of junk computer.
Mm-hmm.
On the PS4, which has better hardware than my computer, it runs poorly. The liftoffs are frame rate, like drop frames, which I don't know why. Because, again, on my PC, it is able to hold it and be stable. Not on the PS4. The UI is practically unreadable, and you can make it bigger, but it doesn't get much bigger. So it is pretty much unreadable, and a lot of that game is glancing at instruments and looking at UI. I'm trying to remember what else was fucking broken about that thing. Oh, came out months ago. There has not been a single update for it. Maybe there was one that like got through when I didn't realize it on my PS4, but I have updated Hitman, I have updated Overwatch, I've updated a ton of games. I've never updated Kerbal. They put it out on the PS4 and fucking washed their hands of it. That game is, and that's not to mention the fucking slapdash controls that make no sense. Like, I don't know who mapped the controller, but it's like somebody just thought of it in a fever dream, and then they just said, yeah, that's great. Like, the game is a unique thing, and the idea that they ported it to the PS4 with the least amount of effort is fucking a travesty to that game. And I know why. It's their fucking terrible treatment of the developers, but that thing's a fucking... No, that thing's practically a graveyard on the PS4. Which is a shame, because the only reason they ported it over was to make more money. Mm-hmm. And that sucks. That's my argument for Kerbal.
So I'm going to say that I agree with Michael's argument for Kerbal simply because our issues with Telltale and Watch Dogs 2 could, in theory, be circumvented by someone. They might just luck out and have a good computer or the perfect build that lets it like work for them. But Kerbal's busted forever. Like, for everyone.
I mean, but the only thing is that you could play it. You could play it and you could enjoy it. It's just, it sucks. It's a shitty experience compared to the way it is on PC. My argument for Batman, even though I didn't have any troubles or play it, is I assume that works on, and there are other ways, well, I guess you could argue that for Kerbal. At the very least, Telltale has made other Telltale games. And it is not their first time making it on PC, or making it on consoles, or making it for multi-platforms. and it's on the same engine. And for some reason, we could play last year's Tales of the Borderlands, but we can't play Batman Telltale. And that's weird.
Yeah.
So either or, it's fine with me.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Batman just because, like, I mean, that's kind of the only one that I've full on put my hands on. But at the same time, Batman was so thoroughly fucked that multiple of us were like, yeah, no, we can't play this, we can't review this, we can't do anything with this. We are legitimately interested in this game. We can't do anything with it.
Yeah, and there was Telltale, like people telling Telltale, hey, it's broken, and them just going like, people say it's fine, so I don't know. Here's
they're
episode
still
2.
doing that. They're still doing that, and people, when I looked it up on the subreddit, just to see, like, maybe their forums, Telltale forums isn't the place people are flocking to, people on the subreddit were reacting the same way. They were saying, well, what's your minimum spec? Oh, well, you clearly don't have this. Like, this isn't Tales. It's doing more than that. And it's just like, holy shit. This guy has a broken game. Like, don't fucking defend it. Like, it's not always his fault. It's...
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to go with Batman. Let's go with Batman. All right. The winner for the hella brokenest game of 2016 is Telltale's Batman game for PC, with runners-up Kerbal Space Program on PS4 and Watch Dogs 2 on PC. All right, folks, we only have one more category to go today, and it is Most Disappointing Game. This is the game that might have had some hype, or at the very least, one or more of us were excited for the game, and it turned out to be a little bit of a stinker, at least compared to what we thought. The nominees for Most Disappointing Game are No Man's Sky, Street Fighter V, XCOM 2, Unravel, The Walking Dead Michonne, Dark Souls 3, Omnibus, Final Fantasy Explorers, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Eyes of Heaven, Mighty Number 9, Recore, Ratchet and Clank, Star Fox, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, that platinum one, I don't remember what it was called.
Mutants in Manhattan.
Thank you. Mutants in Manhattan, Quantum Break, Mafia 3, Dishonored 2, and The Silver Case. Okay, Niall, you're up first.
Nope.
No, not first.
The write-ins.
It's a new...
That's right.
Oh, yeah, the write-ins.
Jesus Christ. Okay. Michael, please read off the write-ins for Ryan.
You sure?
Please. I'm
Okay.
I'm sorry.
It's only day 2. You still got 2 more to go. Listen, this has to go to No Man's Sky, if for the simple reason that the reaction to this game will forever be etched in the annals of gaming history. A game that was so reviled on release that it prompted a lawsuit. No Man's Sky is one of the most symbolic titles of the year, filled with broken games and broken promises. Subject to almost endless hype and imbued with a sickly sweet little lies that would make Todd Howard blush. No Man's Sky was poised to roar out of the gates as the hottest damn thing to ever strut down Gaming Street, and instead it hit with a wet flop as the most okay thing ever to shuffle down lukewarm reception alley. No Man's Sky is the Amadeus of 2016, except it was already 2 vast and trunkless legs of stone upon release. I would also consider Street Fighter V in regards to how much complaining I've heard about that game this year.
Okay. Rose,
All right.
please read Scott's.
All right, so Scott says Street Fighter V.
Okay.
Capcom somehow managed to make their biggest fighting game franchise, and arguably one of the biggest franchises in the world, into a giant laughingstock. Not only did it release completely unfinished, but it remains an unfinished mess to this day. You're repeatedly disappointed throughout the year with monthly updates that wound up running late, and the only promise consistently delivered on were more stages, costumes, titles, and anything else they could rope people into paying microtransactions for. Early access is a really good way for underdeveloped games to get community feedback for any problems that need to be fixed, but the trend of full $60 titles releasing in an early access state is abysmal and needs to be addressed.
Okay. Niall, please make the first cut. I apologize again.
Okay. So, had the Silver Case ever been released
No,
in the West before? No, it hadn't. Okay. I thought it had been. So
it had not. No.
Okay, because I was going to cut it just based on it being a re-release, but if it's not,
no,
okay.
it's not.
Did anyone here or on the site even actually play XCOM 2?
No, I didn't.
I don't think so.
I didn't because I was disappointed that it didn't have controller support on the PC.
All right.
All right, I don't know who put that on there then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Whatever. All right. Michael, you're next.
Mighty number 9. You what? What are you talking
It's
about?
baffling. It's baffling.
What are you talking about? That game was a trash fire from the
all right,
go of the
so listen here.
Kickstarter.
Listen here.
Yeah.
At least among the people I know who backed that game, it's people were at least thinking, like, this will probably be a shitty game, right? This game's gonna suck, but maybe it'll at least have some heart. Like, maybe there'll be something to this game. Instead, there was just, like, I think I've said it before in the Slack and stuff, like, they made a level where David Hayter voices a sniper in his snake voice who is shooting you down this hallway. They made that feel like nothing. They made it feel like just nothing.
But way before that level, there was the beta that got delayed multiple times. The demo got delayed multiple times. The Kickstarter that finished, and then they had kickstarted another game and like an anime and like an animated movie, and that failed. And they went to Indiegogo or something. That thing was a trash fire, and
Sure.
all they did was come along with another dump truck and said, "Here's more trash for the fire."
But if we were going to make the argument in the case of Overwatch, where it was like the betas and everything was part of the game or whatever, like that game started out with people going crazy and giving tons of like money to it on Kickstarter. Like people thought that was going to be good. By all accounts, if you look at the original Kickstarter pitch, it looks like it's going to be fine. And what that turned into is like crazy and really disappointing based on what was originally shown.
Nobody I knew was excited. They were hopeful, but nobody thought that was going to be good.
In the end, no, but like when it was announced.
Yeah, I'll admit, for a good while, I was excited for that game. Like, as a pretty big Mega Man fan, like, especially during that Kickstarter, when they first showed it, I was excited for that game. But yeah, as time went on, as they showed more of it, as the art style changed, as they showed more trailers, I was like, eh. And then, like, I put my hands on that game at E3 once, and I was like, if they polish this a little bit, sure. But I think I lost all hope. Like, I mean, it was right around the time that it came out, but the Anime Fans on Prom Night trailer, that was when I was like, okay, this game is going to be hot shit. Great. Whatever.
Yeah, like, disappointment doesn't necessarily mean I always expected this to be great and then it came out and was bad. It means that, like, you up to all the way to the point to where it was released and was shitty, or you played it and it was shitty. Like, I feel like your argument is that it started real high with excitement and then slowly died.
I guess, but isn't that disappointing? Like,
no,
because it has potential.
Because that happened before the release. Because that happened before the release.
Yeah, you could say like any of these happened before the
no, but my argument is like No Man's Sky didn't disappoint until people played it. Street Fighter V wasn't disappointing until it came out. Mighty Number 9 was disappointing last year.
I feel like we could maybe keep it on the list for now, though. I
okay.
look at some of these others, and I think Mighty Number 9 might actually be like in the conversation here.
I just didn't know. I didn't know anybody who went all the way up to the release date and thought, "Oh my god, it'll be great," and then played it and went.
I don't think it has to be up to the release date because I think part of that whole experience is related to the game.
But then you could argue a game doesn't have to come out this year; it could come out next year, and I'm not. But I've been slowly disappointed by it.
No, but like this is the culmination of it. Like,
sure,
this is the big moment where like all that despair just all comes out, and it's like, oh boy, there it is.
Yeah,
I don't know. I wasn't just like I didn't feel the hype machine brewing like I did for some of these other fucking games.
I feel like Mighty Number 9 is almost the inverse of Hitman, where we saw what it was, And initially we were excited, but then as time went on, as we learned more about it, we were like, ugh. And then it came out, and then it was official that it was fucking rancid.
Sure.
You know?
Well,
Yeah,
all right.
and I feel like I remember writing a story when Mighty Number 9 got delayed at the start of this year, and people were like were like reblogging it on Tumblr and stuff, and still like just being steadfast in that this is going to be good, this is going to work, this is going to be what we want it to be.
Oh, those
like,
people
I
are
feel
crazy
like,
people then.
I feel like there was enough people who were like so into the idea of Mighty Number 9 that there was this, like, however small and like dwindling it may have been towards the end, there was still people who were putting everything into the hope that this was going to be everything they had wanted it to be. Like,
We have
like
we have 5 stories on the site, all of which have some way of saying that Mighty Number 9 is bad, including the announcement of the animated new series and the new funding drive, one delay, another delay, a demo delay, and then the actual launch being a garbage fire, which is in the title of our story. So I think we saw that this was coming a ways off. But if we all want to move on, I'm fine with that.
Let's just keep it for now.
Okay.
yeah,
Then TMNT.
sure.
Sure.
All right.
And this other
Sure.
one.
Okay. Rose, your turn.
Can we remove Ratchet and Clank? Because, like,
That game's good.
yeah, everyone I know likes it. Like,
Yeah.
the movie's disappointing, I guess, but that's not the game.
Yeah.
I didn't play it.
Okay.
Who put this on here?
I have no idea. All right. I'm going to go ahead and say JoJo's Bizarre Adventure: Eyes of Heaven, because as soon as I saw gameplay of that game, or no, as soon as I heard what kind of game it would be, like I read it. As soon as I read that, I said, "Oh, this game's gonna fucking suck." And guess what? It fucking sucks. So, not a surprise. It's just bad.
There's one good part in it, and it's that the second Josuke is named Josuke with a hat.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what they call pet shop in that game. I think it's just like animal purchase area or something like. I don't fucking remember, but they have dumb names for all that stuff, and that's always funny. But, God, all right, Niall, your turn.
I'm gonna say The Walking Dead Michonne,
Sure.
which was a bad game, but the second season of The Walking Dead was kind of bad. And even though Telltale were coming off Tales from the Borderlands, I still feel like that was, that was a separate enough thing that the second season of Walking Dead being so poor kind of set that up anyway.
Okay, Michael.
Omnibus.
Sure, that game's not that bad. I feel like Ryan really hated it, but I think that game's okay.
Yeah, and I never even heard of it until we saw it at E3 and still didn't expect the world out of it. So
Yeah. All right, Rose, your turn.
I'm gonna say, this might be controversial, I'm gonna say Star Fox. Because I am so used to Miyamoto fucking over every game I love that I'm not surprised that he did it again.
You have a point. God, you have a point.
I don't know.
I don't know, you tell me Miyamoto's oh, we're making a new Star Fox game, and I'm in charge. And then halfway through the development, they could bring in Platinum, and the Platinum guy's well, Miyamoto really wants us to use this control scheme, and you probably won't like it, but trust us, you'll get used to it. And then the developer just looking dead, to the ground during an interview,
So I'm gonna use your Mighty Number 9 argument against you.
Ooh.
So if you had told any Wii U owner that they were going to get a new Star Fox game to help fucking buoy that dying fucking console, and Miyamoto was in charge of it, I think most of them would have gone like I did and said, "Hell yeah, give me a new game," because that console just doesn't have big tier Nintendo games come out on it very often. And all we saw was it go from the promise of a new Star Fox game and all the things we could think that you could do with it to, and then you use this dumb controller for dumb things and dumb modes that you have to do. And then it just slowly but surely was this sudden realization all the way up to its release that this was going to be a very poor game and that nobody would like it. And then it came out.
I guess my question then is, what is the promise of a Star Fox game in 2016? Like,
I don't know, because I'm not a game designer, but I would
no,
hope
like I just
that,
mean like in terms of fans' eyes, like
but
when was
I
the
don't,
last
like,
Star Fox that people were like excited about?
But it's not even that. It's that A, they're going back to the well of a franchise they don't do very often. B, it was again like the Wii U does not have a ton of Nintendo focused AAA games. They would come out with like 2 or 3 a year, and that's it. And this was going to be one of them. This was, and probably one of the big last ones. And it sucks. It like if they, it would be the same of like, hey, we're doing another Metroid, and it's a 3DS shit one. Like it's, to me, it's the same thing of like, here's this promise of we're going back to the franchise, the many franchises we have that you love that we don't do very often, especially like these second tier ones of like Star Fox and Samus, and we're gonna suck at it. Here it is for your Wii U.
I can't believe we didn't put Metroid Prime Federation Force on here.
Because it never looked good.
Yeah,
I guess you're right.
Yeah.
I guess you're right.
There was all the, like, the only time anyone was excited is when somebody, like, the rumor of they might announce a Metroid today, and then it was like for the 3DS, and all hope was lost.
All right, you know what? I'll let you keep Star Fox for now.
Okay.
But let's say Recore then. I think listen. If we're, I'm going to almost break my argument in a sense, but I think this works in that you tell me like Keiji Inafune, who is working on the troubled Mighty Number 9, is now working on a new game with Microsoft. Like,
Was
I'm
it
not
him or was
Yes.
it I thought it was Concept doing the story.
It was him and Concept.
Okay.
Like
I was only excited about that game when they said it was Metroid Prime people,
Sure.
and then they eventually clarified that as like not the designers, and I was like, oh, all right, that game could be okay, and I hear it's okay.
Yeah, like it doesn't seem like a burning mess of despair. It just seems to be like,
No.
Yeah,
could have been better.
From what I've heard, it like peters out pretty
Yeah.
quickly, but it's solid mechanically.
Okay.
okay.
John's turn.
Still some that could be gone. That could be killed.
Yeah. Did we really dislike? Actually, did anyone on here actually play Dishonored 2?
I did.
Yeah.
Did you really? Okay. Did y'all really dislike it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you like Dishonored 1?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What made you dislike Dishonored 2 then? What was the difference, like, in terms of expectations, and then...
I did a lot of talking, so I'll let Niall go first.
I think it was just one of those things where it just never clicked for me, like I just kind of felt like the stealth in first person in that game, like you could kind of forgive it in the first a little, but like the things they try to add to it to make it a little more sophisticated, I don't think quite work. I think the enemy AI is a little bit inconsistent in terms of whether or not they can see you, or that whether they're going to hear what you're doing. I feel like the design of it is just kind of a little less interesting than I had hoped for. I feel like it was one of those games that I had expectations of, that it could be a potential game of the year, and it was just kind of like, it's okay, but I bounced like off it in 4 hours, 5 hours.
So for me, it was a lot of like, kind of like Niall said, it was like they didn't fix anything from Dishonored 1. Like it is just Dishonored 1. The powers are less interesting. They're more fun on Corvo, but they kind of position that game as an Emily game where you should play as Emily. So I played as Emily the first time, and with how that game treats pacifism as like the way to get the good ending, while also not supporting a pacifist playthrough at all, is just like really shitty. Especially like, I was down on Deus Ex earlier this year. Deus Ex seems a million times better than Dishonored 2 after playing Dishonored 2. Like, I'd rather play Deus Ex like 50 times in a row than play through Dishonored 2 again, probably. Like, it's just really poor, and you'd want more, especially from how good that game looked like it was going to be.
Okay. I think we can keep it for now.
Okay. You know what? I'll cut the silver case then, because that's a very personal thing. As someone who really, really loves Suda51, I wanted to play one of his earliest work, and I kind of hated it. So that was a bit of a big bummer for me, but that was for me, not the site, I guess, so that's fine. Alright, so let me read what we have left. We don't really have that much left. Maybe we could probably just pick our 3 from this, but I'll just read what we have and we can go from there. We have No Man's Sky, Street Fighter V, Unravel, Dark Souls 3, Final Fantasy Explorers, Mighty No. 9, Star Fox, Quantum Break, Mafia 3, and Dishonored 2. Do y'all want to do one more round and then pick? Or
I think one more round would probably be good.
Okay. Sure. Alright, Niall.
There's some easy cuts on here.
Okay, Niall, go ahead.
I don't think any of us actually played Quantum Break, did we?
I played a little bit at a friend's house, like 2 levels, and then put it down because I did not like it.
Do you think it should be on this list?
No, that game, like, I think its announcement really got me excited, and then slowly but surely it whittled me down of like, it's going to be a TV show tie-in, which maybe isn't the best thing to get excited about, but then they got rid of the TV show and just kind of integrated it with the game. I was just really hoping that the guys and gals from Alan Wake could kind of not come back, but like put another feather in their cap, and it was disappointing that was what it came out to be.
Sure.
Actually, I would almost argue to keep it, just because like it's from the people who made Alan Wake, and they tried this really weird thing, and if you would tell me any other developer were going to make a game and tie it into like a television show kind of aspect, the Alan Wake people are the people I'd want, because they did that with Alan Wake.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a shame I can't remember the developer's name.
Remedy.
But, thank you. Like, Remedy would be the one I would want, even if it wasn't a goofy Twilight Zone or Twin Peaks tie-in. Like, Quantum Break was like pretty disappointing, and Microsoft certainly thought it was going to be good, because there was never like the kind of hands-off approach of like, oh no, this is going to be bad. They kept going. They kept putting it out at E3. They backed that thing, and it was just lackluster.
I'm just gonna say real quick that it was really funny seeing the Quantum Break highlighted, and then once you switched, like just immediately seeing the cursor just pop off. Like, that was really good.
You saw my brain functioning.
All right, gotta pick another one.
How about Unravel then? Which was fine, but it wasn't like
I agree.
Okay,
incredible.
Sure.
All right.
It's no Clarny.
Yeah, Jesus, Michael.
What the fuck is Final Fantasy Explorers?
All right, I'll let you take it away from me. I'll let you take it far away, but all right. So this is a Final Fantasy Monster Hunter game.
Oh,
I know you'll instantly say, fuck that.
Surprised it wasn't any good.
No, so listen. It's good when you play it at the beginning, because it's not like normal Monster Hunter. You have jobs and stuff like a normal Final Fantasy game. And I played it with my girlfriend, and it was fun, like, because the jobs all played pretty differently. You were fighting Final Fantasy monsters, like, there were combos and stuff. It had way more depth than Monster Hunter. Then, after you beat, like, the 4th boss, you're like, oh, this is pretty good. I wonder where this is leading to. And then it just goes, you're just going to fight those 4 bosses over and over again. forever. Like, that's the rest of the game. Like, they don't even change appearance or anything. They just add health to them. And it's like, okay, like, the jobs still get new abilities and stuff, but what's the point? Like,
This is a 3DS game, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was just, like, a real bummer. Because, like, even Monster Hunter, for its lack of depth at times, like, they give you plenty of things to fight that are all different. Like, it has content that you can do. This game has, like, maybe 5 hours of content, and then it's the same 5 hours, except they expect you to do it for, like, 60 hours.
I would normally, I would actually agree with your argument if there weren't also a bunch of other fucking cheap Final Fantasy cash-ins everywhere else.
Sure, I guess, but, like, for me, what it was actually playing the game and having it be good and fun, and then it turns bad. Like, that's what's disappointing to me about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I am willing to let you take it off.
Okay.
I cut it.
All right.
I cut it.
Okay. Rose?
So, I've talked about how this is a very disappointing game for me before, but I don't think it belongs among this crowd. It's Dark Souls 3.
I agree.
Yes.
That's
Sure.
It's still a good
It's just
game.
another Dark Souls.
Like,
yeah.
it's still fun. You can play it. Like, you can play it and have fun. There's stuff going on. The boss fights are pretty good.
If you like Dark Souls, it's still Dark Souls.
Yeah. Like, it's not disappointing. If you liked Dark Souls, yeah, you'll like it. Like, it's...
Okay.
Yeah.
One more, John.
All right. Mafia?
Sure.
Yeah.
I don't
That
think
game-
there's I don't think there's big of a cliff between what I wanted from Mafia and what it is.
Yeah, it sounds like Mafia is a little disappointing, but I don't think it hangs. I don't think it's up
know
there.
that I'd say it's a little disappointing because I was quite disappointed by it, but I was disappointed by it because it's just boring. You know, like, it's not a poorly made game. It's just a game where you're doing the same 3 things for 30 hours.
Okay.
Oh, so it's a Mafia game.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. All right. We are down to our last couple, so we're going to pick our 3. Let me just go over what we have left so far. We have No Man's Sky, Street Fighter V, Mighty Number 9, Star Fox, Quantum Break, and Dishonored 2.
Can I make the argument that No Man's Sky and Street Fighter have to be on this?
You don't have to because they are already bolted. Now, I'd just like to remind everybody, I feel like I shouldn't really have to say it, but just remember, it's not worst game, it's most disappointing. So, what was the most disappointing game on this list of 4? So, Mighty Number 9, Star Fox, Quantum Break, or Dishonored 2? What was the most disappointing?
I think it's either Mighty Number 9 or Dishonored 2, but that is, of course, me saying that, and those are my opinions, so...
Okay.
I would lean Dishonored too.
Michael?
Sure.
I was not disappointed by Mighty Number 9.
You loved it. Oh, I'm really glad for you.
No, I hated it from beginning to end.
All right, let's...
I don't have a strong feeling towards any of these 4 winning it. So,
I think based on what Rose and Niall have said, Dishonored 2 should probably be on this list. Okay, so the winner.
No,
I know. I'm just saying what's going to be the winner. We got our top 3 is No Man's Sky, Street Fighter V, and Dishonored 2. I'm gonna make a case for Street Fighter.
yeah, I was gonna try and do that if you were just gonna be like, it's No Man's Sky.
Listen, I am the fighting game guy, so I will make the case for Street Fighter V. Street Fighter V has very, very excellent gameplay. It's just as good as it's always been. It's Street Fighter, baby. But everything else about that game is horrible. They launched that game with barely anything functioning. I bought that game brand new, and that is one of the biggest purchase mistakes I have ever made in my life. Like, straight up, that is one of the biggest wastes of money, especially because now you can get that game for a song, and it's more complete. But, the point is, it did not have a story mode at launch. It had a series of very small, very poorly drawn vignettes where you did like 2 or 3 battles with each character. It did not launch with a functioning store, which is how you got costumes. It launched with barely functioning multiplayer, online multiplayer, which, I mean, that's to be expected for a little bit of a bump, like a couple bumps in the road when a game launches, but it was for weeks on end that game was unplayable on launch or online. When they did add a story mode, it was fucking awful, like hilariously bad. The DLC characters were released. They would announce when DLC characters were coming out, and they would miss those launch windows, which was a month long. They would say, "Oh, this character's coming in June," and then the character would come in July. There are tons of like they up front they said, "Oh, we're not gonna really charge you for anything unless you want to pay for it. We're gonna give you fight money, which is currency that you can earn in game for playing the game." But a good portion of the costumes in that game, and even some of the stages, you can only get by paying real money. There is no option to use fight money for most of the costumes in that game and a couple of the stages. Just everything about that game, even today, other than the actual gameplay, is just scummy. Absolutely scummy. And you'll talk talking to that game was specifically made for the competitive scene, and it's disgraceful because they just ignored the actual the biggest amount of people that were actually going to buy that game. And I don't know, it was super disappointing especially as someone who is, I would not say I am a professional fighting game player, but as someone who takes fighting games semi-seriously, that game was especially insulting to me because I don't get that invested in it, but I'm someone who's like, okay, I want to learn how to play this game. I want this game to show me the ropes, and then I want to get good at it. And they didn't even have trials or any way to really teach you how to play any of the characters at launch, when every single other fighting game that came out this year had, at the very least, a basic tutorial. And some of them had full walkthroughs of characters. Like, the fact that Street Fighter just thought, oh, well, as long as we teach you how to move forward, that's fine. It's like, no, I know how to go forward. I want to learn what good combos are. I don't want to have to go on YouTube and watch tournaments because that's what you just want us to do. That's all you care about. So, I don't know, I feel like Street Fighter V, No Man's Sky is a huge disappointment, but I feel like Street Fighter V as the newest entry to one of the greatest series of fighting games ever, maybe the greatest, is incredibly disappointing.
I would be inclined to agree with you just because of the pedigree. Even with No Man's Sky, I at least had trepidation because it was a game by the people who made Joe Danger as their other games.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't expecting the world, and they certainly didn't give it. Some people were expecting the world because they were definitely hyping it up, but while I think it is very, very disappointing the way it turned out, I think Street Fighter V is much more disappointing.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. I was essentially going to do what John did if John didn't do it. It's so easy to get wrapped up in what happened with No Man's Sky, but I almost don't even want to place it at No Man's Sky's feet because I feel like that's Sony's fault as much as it is, Sean Murray's and that team. I feel like that's just as much on Sony, and I feel bad putting that on to then saying to Hello Games oh, and you guys didn't live up to your promises. No game ever does for the most part. Whereas Capcom rushed Street Fighter V out, it launched incomplete. It still doesn't have, to this day, does not have feature complete that you expect at the launch of a fighting game. It's not feature complete. No Man's Sky, at least for me, like, still had the magic. It wasn't what it should have been by any stretch of the imagination, but it still had that little bit of a magic, the exploration, the isolation, the loneliness of space. Like, it was not the game I wanted it to be, but I bought it and enjoyed it. Street Fighter V, I wanted to buy that game. I liked Street Fighter 4. I think I bought the second to last edition. I played it with people. I like it. I'm shit at fighting games. I'm not the semi-pro that John claims to be. But I wanted to buy that game. And it's just terrible. And the idea that Capcom just hasn't done anything about it and continues to, like John said, like they don't let you buy everything with fight money. You can't even earn everything with fight money because fight money is limited, correct? Like, the only way to earn fight money is by beating the campaign levels, the story mode.
Well, like no, because you get fight money through those campaigns, through the story mode. They give you like weekly challenges, and you also get a small amount of fight money for every online match that you win.
Oh, that you win. Okay.
Yeah.
So in a community that progressively gets harder as it goes along on the online, and you can't replay the campaign or the story mode to get fight money. You can only do it once. And correct me if I'm wrong, but at least originally, you could not beat all those campaigns and unlock all the characters. You could only unlock like one or unlock some of the stuff. So that it is essentially gating you to say either play it a ton online and the weekly challenges weren't there at first, correct?
No, they added. Yeah,
No,
they
weren't.
very recently added that.
So they are essentially gating you to buy their own currency, which isn't fight money, it's separate money. So there's the regular free-to-play stuff that you can't earn enough of, and then they said, here's your own specialty premium currency. By the way, the store wasn't open for months to begin with, to the fact that they gave you a free character and then took him away. Like, they didn't even say, listen, the store's not up yet. This character is supposed to come out at this time. Here it is. It's free. Have fun. They said, here it is. It's free until the store is available.
Yeah, exactly. They took Alex away. Like any other game, I guarantee, well, not every single other, but any game that wanted to save face would have definitely just been like, yeah, you can't buy Alex. We said Alex was going to be here. Here he is. Don't worry about it. That's just how people act to keep their fandom. But you know why they didn't do that? Because they knew that the people who were... Because the competitive players who got good at Alex that wanted to keep playing as him, they had to pay money for that. So they knew they were going to have that money. So, yeah. Like, fuck that. It's scummy. It's real scummy.
I think No Man's Sky is the layup. I think that's the obvious choice. But
Sure.
I just don't think... I almost see more malice with Street Fighter, whereas I almost feel bad for Sean Murray and Hello Games because they've gotten thrown under the bus by everybody. Even Shuhei Yoshida, who is like, big heart emoji, fucking fantastic person, threw them under the bus and said they should have had better PR. And it's like, holy shit, come on, guys. Like, they may have promised a lot, but every game, like, why aren't people down on Street Fighter V then? They promised a complete game.
Yeah.
Like, I just...
Like, just to make the point, really, when they announced Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, they literally explicitly had to say in the announcement that it was going to launch with an arcade mode and with a story mode. Like, that is how bad Street Fighter V was at launch.
I mean, they came out after Street Fighter V's launch and were like, yeah, we probably should focus on finishing games in the future.
Yeah.
Like, that was, like, legitimately part of an earnings call for quarter one. The one, like, argument that, and I don't think No Man's Sky wins this, but the one argument you could make for it being the winner is that at its core, Street Fighter V is a really, really excellent game. Like, it is an excellent fighting game. And at best, No Man's Sky is a very early access game, basically, at this point. Like, at its core, there is nothing really particularly good about No Man's Sky as a game yet. I mean, it might get there someday, but is it going to matter now because they have lost so much out of it, you know? Whereas at least Street Fighter V, you can look at that and say mechanically the fighting in that game is rock solid. But I do think the way Capcom handled it and the fact that, I mean, it still doesn't have an arcade mode, and then you had the stuff where, oh, it's installing malware on your PC if you have the PC version,
Right.
and like all that. I think Street Fighter V might take this, personally.
I think it does.
Yeah, I think so too. I think we can revisit No Man's Sky for another category.
Sure. All right. So the
Wow.
winner of most disappointing game is Street Fighter V with
I did
runners
not.
up.
Go ahead.
Yeah. With runners up No Man's Sky and Dishonored 2.
I did not expect that to happen.
Video game choo choo baby. All right, let's go over our winners for today's episode. We have Best Writing, Valhalla, with runners up Firewatch and Orwell. Most iconic moment, there I'm kind of changing that, goes to The Night in the Hospital from That Dragon Cancer, with runners up Play the Game in Overwatch and Pokemon Go as a cultural phenomenon. We have Best Surprise Hitman, with runners up Stardew Valley and Doom. Hella Brokenest, Batman Telltale on PC, with Kerbal Space Program on PS4 and Watch Dogs 2 on PC, runners up. And most disappointing, Street Fighter V, with runners up No Man's Sky and Dishonored 2. Thanks so much, Michael, Niall, and Rose, for being on this episode. And we'll see you tomorrow with Day 3 of Video Game Choo Choo's Game of the Year podcast deliberations. We'll see you soon. Good night.